Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 27. Hey there, Amanda James.
Hello, everyone.
So, today we're going to talk about Sarah Boone. If you don't know who Sarah Boone is, thing one, I want to know, where have you been? And thing two, this is a perfect place to start because we're going to start at the very beginning. So, have you watched a lot of videos about this person?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched the interrogation more times than is healthy, probably. I've watched her initial contact with the police. So, yeah, I think so.
Okay. I haven't really. And I didn't think that I was going to be able to talk about this one, actually.
Okay.
Well, you know how there's some cases that are a little bit too much?
hmm
Like we talked about Cherish Periwinkle, right?
hmm
And the details of it, you're just like, wow, this is just too much. I know for me, anything that would have to do with an animal, I'm like, nope, I don't want to know anything
Yeah.
about it. I just can't do it. And then there's other cases, I think, that tap into fear. Like if you have a fear about something. And for me, I'm claustrophobic.
Me
So,
too.
so the details of this case made me feel like there's absolutely no way that I can talk about it because I'll feel like I'm going to have anxiety. I feel like I have to breathe really deep, like
hmm
take deep breaths. But then I just I stumbled upon a video, I think, and I said, all right, I'm just gonna check it out. And then when I did, I figured I could survive it. So here we are.
It is very uncomfortable when you think about what happened. Um, it's 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 easy to go over when because we're looking at how, when I'm watching the videos, at least I'm looking at how ridiculous Sarah Boone is,
Hmm.
and how her excuse, just like Jody, she makes up lies and excuses and thinks she's the smartest person in the room. And that's what's really fascinating for me to watch, is people getting caught in their lies and continuing to lie.
Hmm.
um, but then when you see, like, there's footage of the actual crime, she
Right.
actually videotaped the crime, that's where it gets very uncomfortable to watch, because you realize just how torturous it would be to be in the victim's position at death.
Yeah.
So I agree. I stumbled upon those videos for the first time last night, and I physically felt uncomfortable watching them.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like, you're right, you want to breathe extra deep and, like, stretch your arms and legs all out just because you can, just to show yourself you're not in there. Don't freak out.
Right. Don't freak out because your mind can run away with you,
hmm
right? And you just you start to imagine like how would that feel? It's like no, I just can't do it. That's awful.
Yeah.
And torturous is the perfect word for it, I think, because it
hmm
had to be.
So do
So,
you?
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Somebody is the one putting you in that position and not helping you. I mean, it's
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So Sarah Boone and George, I almost just said his wrong
Taurus.
name. So right, Torres Jr. They lived in Florida, and at the time of his death, he was 42 years old, and he was living with Sarah. They'd been together for almost 4 years. And during those 4 years, they had a very toxic and abusive relationship. So they met in a bar, and he moved in with her about 9 months later. No, I'm sorry. I think he moved in even sooner than that. The first incident with police was 9 months after they started dating.
hmm
So I think he moved in after 3 months, and then 9 months after they started dating, the first incident with police had started. So they didn't have a good relationship. It sounds like it was just a lot of fighting, constant fighting. And I think a lot of that had to do with alcohol, number one.
Yes.
They both had severe alcohol problems. And also, they spent a lot of time together. They were both unemployed.
Right. Exactly.
So she hadn't worked since 2018.
Her ex-husband, I think, was her main means of financial support at the
Yes.
time. And they have a child together. I think the child primarily lived with the dad,
Yes.
but would from time to time go to Sarah and George's apartment. And I think sometimes Sarah would go to her ex-husband's, um, supposedly to spend time with the child, but it's probably more likely that her and George were drunk and fighting, and she would run away from their fight and go to her ex-husband's house and
Yeah.
torment her poor son with her drunken craziness.
Right. And he was 9 years old at the time that this happened. So I'm sure he has seen a lot.
Yeah.
So this happened in February of 2020. And the first thing that we're going to take a listen to is the 911 call. So here is that. Here we go.
911, what is the location of your emergency?
4748 France Court, apartment 3.
4748, what's the street name?
France, FRANTZ.
And the apartment number?
3.
Is this a police or medical?
My boyfriend is dead.
Okay, send the line for the fire department. Do not hang up.
Fire rescue. So location, Mercy.
That's 32.
No, please don't leave.
4748 France Lane, apartment 3.
France Court.
France Court.
Yes.
Okay, is this near Mackenzie Drive?
I don't know where that is.
Okay, fine, okay.
It's Hillwood Park Apartments.
Okay, 4748 France, correct?
Correct.
All right, correct. Now tell me exactly what happened there.
My boyfriend and I were playing last night, and I put him in his case and we were playing. And
Okay.
like kind of hide and seek kind of thing. So I fell asleep and I woke up and he was dead in the suitcase. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Right, okay, what's your apartment number?
3.
Apartment 3?
Yes, like he has like blood coming out of his mouth, and I don't know if like he had like an aneurysm or what happened.
Right, okay, all right, okay. Listen, we're getting help out there.
Can you pause for a sec?
Yes.
First of all, I just want to say, I mean, everybody reacts to shock and like grief differently. I know that's important to mention, but I think most people would have similar reaction if they find their boyfriend dead, someone they love, someone they've been with for 4 years. Seeing a corpse is horrific anyway, even if it's not someone that you love, but this is someone that you love. I don't know that the appropriate response would be, my boyfriend is dead and I don't know what happened. It's funny that she's going to throw out theories like, I think he might have had, I don't know if he had an aneurysm or maybe he suffocated.
Yeah.
That's not worth mentioning. Like nobody's going to think of that. The obvious answer.
Right. Yeah, obviously. He's in a suitcase. But yeah. It was interesting to me as well to hear the two first responders, the dispatchers. I didn't know that they would both get on the line. Did you find that to be strange?
Oh, I never thought of that, but you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. There was a man and a woman.
So I think that the call got dispatched to the sheriff's department. That's probably where they all go. And then they will be diverted to different areas. But I thought that was Strange. I don't know. I've never called 911 actually. So I suppose I'm not an expert in that. But I thought that that was strange.
Yeah, I don't think I have either.
Yeah.
But I know we've listened to many 911 calls.
Yes, definitely.
So.
Right, okay, all right, okay. Listen, we're getting help out
Purple.
there, too. All right, okay. Okay,
Right now?
okay, yeah, man, listen, we're on our way out there. You're at 407-716-8684. Okay, is he hanging from somewhere or what, ma'am?
No, I pulled him out of the suitcase. I tried giving him CPR.
Okay, so he was in a suitcase?
Yes, and I fell asleep.
Okay, how old is the
42.
boyfriend, ma'am? 42-year-old male. All right. Okay, we're sending help out there. Sheriff's Office on the way out there?
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sorry?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Listen to me. Okay. I just need to confirm this. All right. I understand. I just need to confirm this. Is he awake at all? Is he conscious at all?
No, he's purple.
Is he breathing?
No.
All right. I need you to get him on the floor, flat on his back for me. Okay.
I did. I tried giving him CPR.
All right.
I tried giving him CPR.
Yeah. Okay.
But nothing happened. He's purple.
Okay. Listen to me. There's a defibrillator available. I need you to get it for me. Okay.
What is
You
it?
have an AED available?
No.
All right. Are you right by him now?
I'm sorry?
Are you right by him now?
Yes.
Okay. Lay him flat on his. Okay, ma'am. Listen. Is he cold and stiff?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, he's not necessarily cold, but he's stiff. And he's
Right.
purple.
Okay. All right. Listen to me. Listen to me. I want you to lay him flat on his back for me on the floor.
I did.
Removing the pillows. Okay.
Yes, I did.
All right. Okay.
He's stiff and purple.
Right. Okay. Listen. Okay, man. That's fine. We're still going to do compressions on him. Okay. All right. Place the heel of your hand on his breastbone, right in the center of the chest, right between the nipples.
Yes.
Put your other hand on top of that hand.
Baby, I'm telling you. Just by looking at him, you can tell.
Okay.
Please. Okay, he just gurgled.
Okay. Listen to me. All right. I want you to place the heel of your hand. Okay, right between his chest, right between his breastbones.
Yes.
Put your other hand on top of that hand.
Yes,
we want to pump his chest to me hard and fast, going to this twice per second.
I'm doing it again.
Okay, no, just keep on pumping. That's all you need to do for me. Keep on pumping his chest for me. I don't need you to stop and talk or anything. I just want you to count out loud for me, okay?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
What do you think she's doing there?
I do not think she's actually trying. I've never given anyone CPR, so I don't know personally, but I've heard a lot of people's opinion on this is that you would be able to tell if she was actually like exerting the force needed to actually do that. She would be out of breath.
Right.
So I think she's just counting.
I think so too.
Like a half-ass, like, I think she didn't want to touch him.
That's an excellent thought about her not wanting to touch him at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I wasn't thinking that she was actually doing it either, for the simple fact that you would hear somebody exerting themselves to try to do it. She's not shaky in the way that she's talking. She's not breathing the way that you would expect to hear somebody who's doing that. So she's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, you know.
She sounds very impatient with the dispatcher, like, and annoyed with him. Like, yeah, I already did. I know, I did. Okay, I'm doing it. Either she doesn't want to touch him, which I think it is quite possible. I think it really freaked her out when he gurgled, as she said. And also, I think she said, like, I think she knows that it's not going to do any good to do any CPR. She's annoyed that she's even being put, having to put herself out and pretend.
Right.
Like, this is not, he's dead, bud. We're not doing anything here. Yeah. But still, think about it. Even if you knew that this person is dead, it's somebody that you love very much. You're gonna, common sense isn't going to really take over in that moment, and you're going to still try, I would think. It's
Mm-hmm.
like I was listening to, I can't remember what case it was, but it was about a child, a child who died as a result of abuse by the parents. And when they were being questioned, I think it was the mother, um, they said, like, well, why didn't you take, because they disposed of the child,
Mm-hmm.
of the body. And they said, well, why didn't you bring, if it was an accident, why didn't you bring them for medical attention? Why didn't you bring them to the hospital? Why didn't you call 911? And they said, well, I thought, I could tell they were dead. And the detective was like, I've seen parents who come in and they find their child dead from sudden infant death syndrome or something. And the child is clearly dead,
Yeah.
but they'll still scream and cry for help. Someone
Yeah.
do something,
Mm-hmm.
help. Um, and I mean, from personal experience, something kind of similar when I was younger, somebody that I cared about very much died unexpectedly. And when I got the phone call, that told me that they had died, I I asked, well, where are they? Like,
Mm-hmm.
where what hospital are they at? Because I felt like I needed to do something. Death is, how do you say it? Like, the permanence of death doesn't, I feel like it doesn't really reach your mind in that moment. It's what can we do to fix this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how can we save them? We have to do something. What do you mean they're dead? Like,
Yeah. You have to try everything possible.
right, you at least try. And
Yeah.
I think there's a sense of denial that comes in.
Yeah.
Like, no, they're not dead. It's not too late. If I do this, if we get them to the hospital, then something can be done.
Yeah.
But to just give up and be annoyed that you would, be expected to try to perform CPR or something, it just doesn't seem like something that would come from a loving partner.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. Yeah. So I agree. I don't think that she was doing anything except for
Hmm.
counting. Yeah.
Yeah.
15. This is nothing.
Okay, ma'am, just keep on pumping his chest. That's all you need to do for me, okay?
Yes. Come on, please. Hurry up.
Okay, ma'am, they're driving here as fast as they can. Okay, don't stop to say hurry up. Just keep on pumping and counting.
I'm still doing it while I'm talking to you, okay?
Okay.
Still doing it.
All right, just continue pumping his chest. Count on us. I can count with you.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Please hurry.
Okay, ma'am, they're getting here as fast as they can, okay?
He's stiff and he's purple.
Okay. Keep pumping his chest for me, ma'am.
I'm still doing it, okay? Still doing it. Just don't make me count. Okay?
Right, okay, that's fine. You did a good job. Just keep on doing it for me. That's
Yes.
Sarah found, when she found George, when she woke up and realized that she had left him in the suitcase, as she said, and she went down, unzipped it, and found him obviously dead, she did not call 911 first. She called her ex-husband
Yes.
first, had
Mm-hmm.
him come over to the house. So this wasn't just like a quick phone call, like, oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? He says, well, call 911. And she said, oh, you're right, of course. Hangs up and calls 911. She has him come over without calling 911. He apparently just like walked in the house and saw what was going on and immediately left and said, call 911, stupid. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And then, however many minutes later, she finally called 911,
Mm-hmm.
which is suspicious. What's your ex-husband going to do? Besides maybe figure out some way to get you out of trouble, because I think that's how Sarah saw her ex-husband. If she needs money,
Yes.
she calls him.
Yep, exactly. He's kind of like her savior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think she
All
knew
right,
she
they're
was
getting.
in trouble from the start.
Yeah, she certainly knew that she was the one who closed up the suitcase.
Hmm.
So therefore, she knows what it looks like, and that's where her over explaining comes in.
Hmm.
Every detail.
Still doing it. Just don't make me count.
Right, okay, that's fine. You do a good job. Just keep on doing it for me. That's all right. They're getting there as fast as they can, along with the sheriff's office also, okay?
Please.
Okay. Keep on pumping, ma'am. 1,
We were playing hide
2,
and seek.
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep on pumping for me, ma'am.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Believe me, I'm doing it, okay? We were playing
Okay.
hide and seek.
Okay. All right, I understand. All right, just keep on pumping for me, okay? Okay.
Please hurry. This
Right,
is
okay.
horrible. This is horrific. What happened? Like, what happened?
Okay, ma'am, just keep on pumping his chest for me, okay? They're in the parking lot. They should be up there shortly, okay?
Yes. I'm still doing it, okay?
All right, okay, good. And you found him in a suitcase, you said?
Yes. We were playing hide and seek last night. I fell asleep. I think they're here.
All right, just keep on pumping his chest until they take over, okay?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
Open. Come in. Can I stop pumping now?
Let them take over for you, okay?
When was the last time anybody saw him? Last night. We were playing hide and seek. He hid in the suitcase. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, he's been down too long. There's nothing we can do for him.
Hello, ma'am.
And so we're there, obviously.
All right.
Yeah, no, he's my boyfriend. He's your boyfriend? Okay. Does he have any kind of metaphors? No. No, not that I know of.
Hello?
Hey, ma'am, the fire department's going to take care of you now, okay? Yeah, so we'll see you there.
All righty. Hello, ma'am. You still there? Hello?
The fire department hung up on her.
Yeah, they're like, thank God.
Oh,
Thank God the
goodness.
paramedics are there.
Yeah. So obviously, they knew right away.
Hmm.
He's been down for too long. So I think it was obvious what had happened, or that he was dead anyway.
Yeah, I heard somewhere that he could have died within like 10 minutes
Mm-hmm.
of being stuffed in there.
Yeah.
I think it probably took longer though, because I know there was some time between the videos. She took 2 videos of him in the suitcase, which we'll get to later, but
Yeah.
I think there was like 11 minutes between those 2 videos. So I have a feeling poor George suffered a lot longer than 10 minutes in there.
Yeah, so it may have been about 20, or it could have been more than that. I don't know.
Yeah, it could have been more.
Ugh.
I hope it wasn't too long.
I hope not either. I hope not either. So apparently, he probably went into the suitcase at around 11:30 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't get up until 12:30 or after that the next
Right.
day.
Mm-hmm.
So he had been in there for about 12 hours
Yeah.
at that
Oh,
point.
God.
So I think that that's the reason why she was able to get him out and lay him flat, because he had already been past the rigor mortis state.
Oh, okay.
Because apparently rigor mortis starts to set in about an hour or two after death.
Mm-hmm.
And it, I believe, starts kind of at the top of your body and moves down
Mm-hmm.
to the rest. And then it will release itself about, it can be between 8 to 12 hours later. So, and that's all going to depend obviously on the person. It's going to depend on the temperature that's in the room. It's going to depend on, the person itself, like their muscle structure. This was a small guy,
Yeah.
obviously. So I think that at that point, he had been dead for a very long time. And plus, with her saying that he was purple, that's another thing too, where the pooling of the blood starts, because he was in one position for so long that it's going to start to settle. Yeah.
I don't know how she found him, but I know at one point he was face down in the suitcase
Mm-hmm.
and unable to move, to right himself right side up, of course. So you're right, definitely that would make sense. If that's how he was stuck in there, the blood would pull in his face and definitely make him purple. And I'm sure it was horrific.
Yeah, absolutely. She also said that there was blood coming from his mouth.
Oh, I wonder, I don't know why. Maybe, again, a result of the blood pooling. I don't know. I don't know much about, like post-mortem. I don't know what happens to the body, but
Yeah. Well, I think that those were injuries.
from him struggling.
It could have been from him struggling. He could have bitten his lip. He could have, or bit something in his mouth. He could, or his tongue. He could have been hit.
Oh, you're right. Yes, because they mentioned that to her. They said he had several injuries from that night.
Yes.
I mean, I guess they could be self-inflicted, just from, not self-inflicted, but from struggling to get out. But with their history of domestic violence on each other, I think the cops at least theorized that, she was attacking him and she gave him those injuries.
Right. And just to mention, speaking of domestic violence, he was actually on parole at the time that this happened for a domestic violence case against her, or with her as the victim, I should say. So they have a very, very long history of police interaction and cases and things like that. And we'll hear more about that too. But what would happen is they would get into a fight after they've been drinking. He was a violent person. They did have physical violence between them. The cops would be called. He would be arrested. She would bail him out the next day. And it was a constant cycle of that over and over again.
Yeah, he was on probation at the time, actually. And court mandated to take like domestic violence prevention classes or something.
Yes, he was. I thought he was on parole. Unless whoever I was listening to had, probation and parole mixed up. I think her ex-husband mentioned that.
Oh, it could have been. I just know that she mentioned his probation officer. She might have said parole officer.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was on supervision of some sort.
Right. Yeah.
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 She's also, I have to assume, very hungover at this point right now.
Yes.
Because she was wasted the night before. And have you ever, well, when I drink, if I drink too much, the next morning, I immediately wake up in a panic. Just because if I'm not like fully 1000% in control, when I sober up and I wake up, I'm going to jump up and say, "Uh-oh, what happened?
Where am I?
Where am I? Who's here?
Right.
What did I do? Where's my money? Where are my children?" No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, you have that like anxiety of like, "Uh-oh, what happened last night? Fuck, I drank too much." In Sarah's case, that would be well warranted to jump up and say, "Uh-oh, what happened last night? Oh, I killed my boyfriend."
Yeah.
whoopsie. I know I have terrible anxiety for like days afterwards if
Mm,
I drink too much.
okay.
Um, and I'm just imagining her trying to deal with all this and trying to craft a lie because she knows at this point, like once it dawned on her, oh shit, he's in the suitcase. I put him in the suitcase. This is bad. This is going to look bad.
Mhm.
She's got to try to figure out a story to make herself the victim, namely, I think, but also to, to absolve herself from any blame. It was just an accident.
Mhm.
There was no malicious, no malicious.
No malicious, and it was not intentional. She says that
Not,
many times.
she does.
Yeah. So after this, obviously, the police are going to show up, right? And the fire department and
Hmm.
everybody. So we do have body cam footage of when they went to the apartment. So let's take a look at that.
What's going on?
So
I just got here, so fill me in.
no problem. Like, he and I were putting a puzzle together. We've been doing some artwork together.
You are putting a puzzle together?
Yes, we have a puzzle that we started in there.
Okay.
We've been doing art, trying to take the stuff off the wall to make new art put up there, like having a good time with one another. But we're drinking. We had a bottle of wine last night.
Okay. Fine.
So then it's like we decided to play hide and seek, right?
Okay.
So he gets in the suitcase. Okay.
Who is this guy?
That's my ex-husband, my former husband.
How did he live here with you guys?
No, I called him over here.
Okay. Okay.
I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
So then he came over here.
Here, let's talk in private, okay?
I called you guys.
So you can see how quickly this happened, that the ambulance is still there. They haven't left yet.
Hmm.
And they obviously didn't take him because at this point they already kind of know what they're looking at. This wasn't something that naturally happened.
Right.
So they're going to start their investigation. But I'm sure that as soon as it was said the ex-husband was there, she was probably like, uh-oh. We have to keep them separated. Something happened here,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, definitely. Imagine being that ex-husband. I mean, he genuinely had nothing to do with anything. I think he's probably, I mean, we don't know much about him,
Mm-hmm.
but I assume he's just a normal guy.
He
And then
seems
he
like
ends
it.
up,
We'll see that in the
yeah.
interview that the police have with him. But yeah, he just seems like a normal guy. And I think that getting a call from her and hearing her like, oh my God, come over, she probably said George is dead, or, we were putting a puzzle together and we were doing art. And she's going off, on her story. And he's
Mhm.
probably like, okay, I guess I gotta go over there. Again, he's like the savior. He's the one who has to be the voice of reason, I think, in
Mhm.
every situation that involves her, because she just flies off the handle.
In fact, he paid for her first attorney.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
Okay.
I tried giving her CPR. The problem is I fell asleep.
So the other thing is too, and I know we're not looking at her right in the shot here, but she doesn't have any blood on her at all.
Hmm.
And she said that he was bleeding from the mouth. So typically, CPR is you do the chest compressions and then you blow into the mouth, right?
Um, I would think so, but I mean, the dispatcher wasn't instructing her to do that.
No,
He
he
was just
wasn't.
instructing her to
Yeah.
pump the chest. But yeah, not knowing how to do CPR, if I
Mm-hmm.
were to try, then yeah, that's what I would do. You like hold the nose closed and blow in the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, she clearly didn't do that. She did take him out of the suitcase and stretch him out though. And I have to wonder, did she do that out of panic or to get a better look at him and see if he was actually dead, or like, uh-oh, I got to get him out of this suitcase. I don't want them to know that I put him in the suitcase because it looks bad, but then realize that there's really no way to
Explain.
explain that or lie about that, like they're going to figure it out. I
I
just thought it
think
interesting that she took him out but didn't want to actually do CPR.
I think that she probably did panic.
Mm-hmm.
I think she probably did. I think that, and we can talk about like our theories of what happened, but I think that, well, we don't want to do that right now.
Okay.
We'll wait until we get through this, because I do have some thoughts on like what actually happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
I fell asleep.
When did you do CPR?
This morning when I found him.
Before you called?
Yes!
It's 1 o'clock right now.
I tried. I was awake, but I actually got out of the bed at like 12:30ish, whatever. So I came downstairs, and I was like, oh, he's in the suitcase still. And that's when I found him, and I took him out, and I tried doing CPR, and then I called him, and then I called you guys.
Did he get here before the fire department got here?
Who?
Your husband or
Yes.
your ex-husband?
Yes.
Okay. Where does he live at?
Right down the street.
Okay. So you were playing and who zipped him up?
I did, but then I fell asleep.
Okay.
First of all, I love the landscapers. They're like, listen, we have leaves to blow and we have grass to trim. We don't care that there's police around and something obviously happened. We're still going to go ahead and do that. So I love that that is also in the background.
They're hard workers.
They're hard workers. That's right.
Okay.
You can tell
Okay.
when she starts to get defensive, though, because it's when she, like, raises her voice or will yell. Like, she's like, she just did it a second ago.
Yeah.
When they were like, when did you do CPR or something? She's like, this morning.
Yeah, and she makes like a face like this, right, with her eyes wide, and she's just
Yeah.
like, yeah, I
She's
know.
like, believe me, I'm yelling at you.
Right, exactly. So she did CPR when she found him. She stopped doing CPR and then called her ex-husband and then called the police and then started doing CPR again when she got on the phone. Well, allegedly, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Like, if you were really intent on doing CPR on somebody, you're not going to stop for however many minutes.
Yeah,
Right?
to pace around and call your ex-husband, have
Yeah.
him come over and tell you what to do because she didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you called your ex-husband because you didn't know what to do. What did you think he was going to do? Dispose of the body for you?
I don't know. I guess be there when the police came over.
Well, I guess, but call the police and then, I don't know, call your ex-husband. I feel like
Yeah.
calling the ambulance or the police would be step number one.
It would seem that way. Yes.
Mhm.
It would definitely seem that way.
You're okay. I wasn't here. I'm just trying to figure out what
I
happened.
fell asleep, so I don't know if he suffocated or like had an aneurysm or a heart attack or
What
what.
kind of medical conditions does he have?
None that I know of.
Nothing that you know of.
None
You
that
didn't
I
take
know
any
of.
medicine
No.
last night?
No.
No medicine.
All we had was a bottle of wine. Literally, just a bottle of wine.
Okay.
Doing puzzle artwork. Then we decided to play hide and seek.
Mhm.
That's all that happened.
Okay.
So I don't know if he had a heart attack or what in there. Like, I don't know what happened.
So how long were you doing CPR on him prior to you calling 911? You tried that all morning?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I called him while I was
What
doing
time
CPR.
did you start? Probably, give me a rough ballpark. Here, let me fill this deputy in, okay?
Please, may I have my Dr. Pepper? I
Hold
am
on,
so
one
cotton
second,
mouth
one
right
second.
now.
Okay, so you...
Okay, so that's the first part of them talking to her. She is cottonmouth as hell.
Because she's hungover.
She's very, very hungover. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely. That's what I was thinking too. And this officer is so nice. She's so sweet
Yeah.
and she's so patient, you know,
Mhm.
with her and everything. But yeah, she's definitely cottonmouth, very, very hungover. So now we're going to hear from the ex-husband.
So you don't live here in this house?
No. I live down in Lake Winata Cove down
Lake
there.
Winata Cove.
Yeah.
Okay. So kind of tell me how you came here today, or...
Well, I had been calling.
Come down here, we gotta talk.
I've been calling since.
You've been calling your ex-wife or current wife?
Yes.
Okay.
No. Ex-wife. We've
Okay.
been divorced about a year and a half. About 11:30 is when I started calling to find out, because this is supposed to be her day. Her child.
Okay.
She's generally not very good about always doing it. drink. They called back and said she was still there, or she came back. So I was calling to find out if she was going to be getting him or not today.
From school?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I started calling like 11:30, called every half hour or so, and then I finally got a hold of her at 12:49, which is when she told me what was going on and if I'd come over here. So I came over.
She called at 12:45.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or 12:49.
12:49.
Got over here, told her she needed to call 911, get somebody over here, and then basically she said she needed to go outside, have a drink and a cigarette. I walked back out the house.
A drink and a cigarette. Do you think just the drink of her Dr. Pepper?
I do, but only because I think all their booze was gone.
Was gone, right.
Yeah. And she says they had 1 bottle of wine. They actually had 2. George went to the store earlier that night and bought 2 bottles of wine. They found the receipt for those bottles of wine in their trash can with the empty wine bottles. So, I mean, I don't know why she would lie about having just 1 bottle of wine. In fact, it would work more in her favor if she said they got blackout drunk and she doesn't know what happened.
It would. That's the interesting part of her explanation of things as well, is because she's very intent on making herself seem like she's the ideal girlfriend who's trying to help him, and she's so supportive and proud of him on the progress that he's making in domestic violence class, and how she doesn't want to drink, but they just casually have a glass of wine or 2 over dinner. She is an excellent mother. She's got straight A's in school. You know, she's such a stellar person. But at the same time, when you start hearing the stories from everyone else around, it's very much not like that.
Yeah. Well, and their idea of fun isn't getting drunk and fighting or partying. They were just having a couple glasses of wine and doing puzzles and painting pictures.
Exactly.
Making art, playing hide and seek. And it is, like you said, she does try to portray herself as this great mother to her son. But her ex-husband there is saying that since it was her day to pick up their son from school and she's not very reliable, so he knows he has to start calling her at like 11 a.m. and call her over and over and over again to make sure that she's actually going to do it. Otherwise she won't do it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So those are important things to keep in mind when she starts talking about herself, and it's quite the opposite.
Right. Her ego, I think, and her need for people to see her as superior or better than she really is really clouded her common sense in this case. Because she just can't bring herself to say, yeah, well, I was hammered. I don't know. I passed out.
Yeah.
It would have looked so much better. I mean, not better necessarily, but less malicious.
Correct. Yeah. She makes it seem more malicious the way that she tries to explain it. Yeah. Like she definitely had her wits about her. And she just went up and went to bed. Yeah.
Right.
Walked back out the house because I didn't really want to
Who
be
called?
there.
Did you call or did she call?
Well, I called. She called me back when I was on my way to make sure I was coming over. But I called her
Give me
initially.
1 second, okay?
But I called her initially.
Do you have water in your car by any chance?
I don't think so.
Nothing?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay, so she called, you get over here.
Well, I called her first.
Okay.
Trying to find out if she's going to get Lucas. That's when she told me everything was going on. I got my stuff together, put the puppy up in his crate. When I was starting to drive over here is when she called me to make sure I was coming, and then I got over here right after
Did you
that.
go inside and see, and then?
I walked inside the front. I didn't see the little front tile area.
Come on, step this way.
I saw legs. I just didn't really want to be in there around it, so I told her I
Well,
was
just
going
for
to
the
come
sake of the crime
outside.
scene, I want to know if I were to find your footprint, it would be because you went this far into the house. So did you actually make entry
I don't
past
think
this threshold?
I don't think I ever made it to the carpet. I think
Okay.
it was just in that. I've been over here before.
Right,
so,
right,
I mean,
right. Yeah.
But no, I don't think I stepped past
You did.
that
Okay.
tile area.
Okay. So
I don't think I touched doorknob. I don't think I touched anything in the kitchen. I don't know if that really matters.
Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much the gist of what you have. Well, sit tight for us.
Okay.
We're going to make a few phone calls, and then we'll go from there. Do you
Okay,
know if
that's
he
fine.
has any medical issues or?
I don't.
Okay, but you've met him before
I've
because.
met him before. Yes,
Okay.
yes. They've got a whole fun history.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, you guys have called over here quite a few times.
For the two of them?
Yeah, he's been arrested like I think 5 times for violence against her. So.
Really? Okay, I'm not familiar with.
So,
I haven't been here personally.
It's.
So they have
He's currently on parole because of it. So.
Because of domestic violence with her.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes.
Well,
From last
that's
time
good to
he
know.
got whatever it's called, like retrial something or other. He had to go to a domestic violence class.
Okay.
I know he was doing it at a parole officer. Stuff like that. But I mean, like, every time she'd have him arrested, the next day she was trying to get him bailed out of jail. So I don't know what it is.
Oh, she's getting water from this tap. Probably gonna pass out on us. Oh, got a second to kind of collect yourself. Tell it to me again. You guys were playing last night, drinking a bottle of wine,
Putting puzzles together, doing artwork.
doing puzzles, artwork.
So she was drinking water out of the tap outside. She was desperate.
Yeah, she's dehydrated.
Yeah, definitely.
Those artwork. Okay.
Had a bottle of wine and then decided to play hide and seek. So he
What
gets,
time was that? Do you remember?
I mean, I know that I was in bed probably by like what, 12:30?
Okay.
Well, I went upstairs at least, and I fell asleep, forgetting that he was in the
So you guys
suitcase.
were playing the hide and go seek.
Yes.
And at some point you put him in the suitcase?
No, he got in the suitcase. So he thought it would be funny to be put in the suitcase. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to joke with you and I'll zip you up and make him, squirm a little bit, whatever it is. But then I fell asleep. I fell asleep.
That's an important statement that she just made.
Oh, make him squirm a little bit?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
You know how they say that people make those little confessions along the way? I think that's one of them.
Yeah, well, she's trying to portray it as this like super playful, fun, silly. They're both laughing and giggling. But making someone squirm a little bit, I mean, like you said, he is a small man, but he's still an adult man.
Yes.
In that tiny little suitcase. That's not making someone squirm. That's getting pleasure out of seeing somebody uncomfortable and in a dangerous position.
Very. Yeah. I mean, what would she have done if it was supposed to be something that was playful? What would have happened if she couldn't get him out? She zipped it all the way up and then the zipper broke off or something. That would have been awful. If that was truly the case, if they were just messing around and stuff, that would have been awful.
If you just want to let him squirm for a minute, why are you going to go upstairs and get in your bed?
She was tired. She didn't mean to fall asleep.
Actually, I think the zipper was broken.
Oh, was it?
Yep. I think she said the zipper was broken. So they had like a paper clip on it.
Right.
Instead. So yeah, there's even more reason not to put someone in a faulty suitcase where the zipper doesn't work properly and you might have to get them out.
Right. Okay.
Where was the suitcase?
Right where it is.
Right down there?
Yes.
You zipped him in there?
Yes.
Thought he would be funny, a little
It
joke?
was. We both were laughing about it.
Okay.
And then I fell asleep.
Where did you fall asleep at?
Upstairs.
In your bedroom?
Yes.
Okay.
Totally forgetting that he was in the suitcase still.
Okay. And then you came back downstairs?
This morning, or this afternoon, yes, when I got up.
Ballpark, what time?
12:30-ish. I was awake, but I totally forgot that he was in the suitcase. He can tell you there's a lot of things that we have been going through. Jobs.
Yeah, he did tell me.
Life, all that good stuff. So I just totally
So
forgot.
you began to do CPR on him?
Yes. Yes.
About
And he
what time
gurgled,
this morning
like he
did you
gurgled.
start doing that CPR?
No, it was the afternoon.
It's interesting, too, that she doesn't say that they have a history of domestic violence. She just says about, life, jobs, and stuff like that, but she never mentions anything about their involvement with law enforcement.
Well, I think she's trying to make it look like they're this loving couple, and she would have
Exactly.
no reason to want to hurt him.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
exactly.
if she was a little bit smarter, I mean, there is something called battered woman syndrome, where, so I've heard, a woman is abused so many times that they think that the only way out is to kill their abuser. Even though they could, of course, they could leave, and that's not the only way out. But it's part of this trauma that apparently women have from being abused. And I mean, that's not an excuse, that's not a defense, but it's a mitigating factor. And if she had gone immediately into their domestic violence problems and how he's abusive and blah, 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 then that might have given an attorney something to work with later down the line.
It could have. Yeah. And actually, I think that is part of her defense. It could be a part of it. I did read something about that. So.
It was afternoon because I was awake, but then I finally decided to come downstairs at like 12:30-ish, whatever it is, and I was like, I forgot he was in the suitcase, and he wasn't moving, nothing was happening, so I unzipped it, took him out and started doing CPR on him. He was on his way over here. I called you when he got here.
Once he got here, you called us?
Yes.
Okay.
And air was coming out, and he was gurgling, but I could just tell by looking at him.
But you knew how to do CPR. You were doing that on your own?
So the CPR that she's talking about where he gurgled was supposedly on the phone with 911. She's saying that she was doing CPR immediately when she found him. And he gurgled. But she said that when she was on the phone with 911.
Yeah, and the gurgle, I'm sure, was a result of just trapped air escaping. So if she had actually been doing CPR immediately upon taking him out, then that's when that would have happened, I would think.
Right, yeah. It wasn't because he was exhaling or anything or gurgling, when if he was choking on something or whatever. He was already deceased at that point. Yeah.
You knew how to do CPR. You were doing that on your own?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the person that was on the phone with me also, I counted with him doing it.
And he's got no medical? He doesn't take any medication?
I don't know. I don't know medical-wise. I know he doesn't take any medications whatsoever.
Okay.
The only thing, like I said, I don't know if alcohol had something to do with it, but we had a bottle of wine.
Okay. All right. I want you to sit back down because I don't want
Can I have one more sip of water, please?
Yeah, go.
Denver, signal 29, residential, audible, 1303 Island Bay Drive.
I'll do what I can to get you a cup because I don't want you to have to keep doing that.
Maintenance didn't have a proper cancel the indication for the front door. Right to that 1325. The motor unit on the channel.
The cups are right there.
Okay. 44 motor unit.
Sit right here. Don't talk to the ex-husband right
now.
now.
I won't. Can I have a cigarette, please?
Ma'am, I can't take anything out of the house.
It's on the back porch.
Nope, all of it. It's secure, okay? I'll try my best to get you what you need, okay? Maybe one of these deputies has a pack from someone, sit down and I'll try and get you what you need, okay?
Just a cup, please.
Okay.
Not a single neighbor came out to offer her a glass of water or a bottle of water either.
No one. No one.
She had a really bad reputation in her apartment complex.
Yes.
Both of them did.
They both did.
They were always super drunk and fighting, and there one neighbor talked about how she found her walking around really early in the morning, totally hammered with no pants on. One woman found George sleeping on her deck or something.
Yes.
And he said it was because Sarah locked him out, I think. There's all kinds of crazy crazy shit they'd get up to.
Yeah, the neighbors put in several complaints about them, noise complaints specifically, because George liked to listen to really loud music.
Uh-huh.
So there would be that, and they would just always be thumping around, creating a lot of noise because they were drunk all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they had a bad reputation of being what the property manager called fall down drunk at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Right. Yeah, that's impressive. I mean, you had to put in some work to get to that level.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, they certainly did. They have a very long history. And I think putting the two of them together really made this perfect storm. Something was eventually going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, and it could have been the other way around as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So, certainly, unfortunately, we know how those things end up working out. But I was curious too, if he's on parole or probation, I don't know that he's allowed to drink.
Oh, I'm sure he's not.
Right.
Especially if
yeah.
their previous fights were like fueled by alcohol, which I'm
Yes.
sure they were.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he was not allowed to drink. Apparently he just wasn't being monitored super closely.
Yeah.
I don't want you on your feet. No, if you want to stay seated, don't. I don't want you getting lightheaded. So remember I said the detectives were going to come out. Talk to you and go from there. You know what I'm saying? They're here. They're going to ask you a few questions and then go from there, okay? All right.
All right, sir. My name's Chelsea. My partner, Scott. To my understanding, you reside here?
Yes.
Okay. Is it just you,
And George.
Okay.
And I have a 9-year-old. It's 50-50 with Brian, my former husband.
Your former husband. Okay. But you reside here with George, and then your son lives with you, or there's 50-50?
Yeah.
Okay. So from what
Rodriguez
has told me, she explained last night that you guys were drinking a bottle of wine, and around midnight, you decided you guys.
12:30ish, yeah.
Okay. You guys decided to play hide and seek.
Well, we were playing hide and seek, and then.
Was your son home at the time, or
no.
Okay?
No, with my
Ex.
with Brian.
Okay.
Decided to play. We're just stupid like that. Like,
Sure.
we were putting puzzles together. We were doing artwork. You can see the puzzle that we finished in there, and then the artwork, and then decided to play hide and seek, just being stupid.
Okay.
So he decided to get in the suitcase. So I thought it would be funny and he was laughing about it too, to dip him up in there. I go upstairs and fell asleep. So this morning this afternoon when I actually got up out of the bed, I thought for sure he was downstairs on the laptop because he was being really quiet. But then I came downstairs and I'm like, where is he? Like, and then that's when I found him.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Okay. And then you weren't sure about if you woke up this morning.
It was afternoon. I mean, I was awake.
Or this afternoon.
But I just didn't want to come downstairs. So
Okay.
I just laid in the bed for a little while. And then I eventually came downstairs and was confused about where he was. And then I was like, oh my God, he's in the suitcase still. So I pulled him out and I stretched him out and I started to try to do CPR on him.
Okay.
I called you guys. Well, I called Brian.
Okay.
And then as soon as he got here, which is 30 seconds down the road, I called you guys.
Okay.
And the person on the phone had me do the compressions continually still and count with him until you guys showed up.
Okay. And so as a part of our investigation, we obviously have to go inside the house. We have to look at things. Are you okay with us
Yes.
going in the house and looking at things?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I
And forensics, so we have to have our forensics crime scene investigators come out.
Uh-huh.
Are you also okay with them coming inside,
Do
taking
whatever you need to
photographs
do.
and?
Whatever
Okay.
you need to do.
Okay.
Can I ask, is Ryan, I'm sorry, George, was he diagnosed with any kind of medical history?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. I don't know. I mean, he doesn't take drugs. I mean, we'll have the occasional bottle of wine here and there, but I don't know. Like,
That was going to be my next question. So you guys don't.
So again, downplaying the alcohol, a bottle of wine here and there, is not the type of situation that would make someone fall down drunk at 9 a.m.
Yeah, definitely not. And I mean, it's funny that she thinks she could get away with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the detectives aren't going to find out, what their relationship and their behaviors were really like. But she's also she keeps insisting that she was awake before 12 or 12:30 or whatever. Like, oh, I was awake. I was just laying in bed. I just didn't want to go downstairs. She was not awake.
No.
Because her ex-husband called her like 6 times or 5 times or something.
Yes, he started calling her at about 11:30.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And she later on, she kind of catches herself in that lie because she kept insisting that she was awake earlier. Like she didn't want them to look at her negatively for sleeping so late in the day. Or maybe that would give away that she was real drunk the night before.
Yes.
If she admitted she was still asleep. But she says she intentionally ignored her ex-husband's calls. She did not answer them because she was asleep. She ignored them because he blows up her phone.
For no reason other than blowing up her phone, apparently.
Well, she even admitted, I know he's calling to make sure I go pick up Lucas, their son. So I understand why he blows up my phone. So then just answer the phone and tell him, yes, I'm going to pick him up. Like, bullshit, you were asleep. Just admit it.
Passed out, to be exact.
Right. Right. She takes great offense because the detectives say that, okay, you went upstairs and passed out. No, I didn't pass out. I fell asleep.
Yes. Yeah.
It would look better if you said I passed out.
I know.
I meant to get him out of the suitcase, but I passed out. I was hammered.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, it's funny because when this police officer first arrived and she's saying, that she woke up and realized that he was still in the suitcase, she's like, it's 1 o'clock.
Yeah. And that's when she said, well, no, I was awake.
Right.
I was awake. I wake up early. I'm very productive.
Very productive. Yes.
So you guys don't normally drink? You just drink once in a while, or?
Well, I'm gonna say okay, I guess normal drinking is we will have a glass of wine or two, while we're cooking dinner. Sure. Cooking here, and we'll play a board game with him. I mean, little games here and there. But I mean, it's not
A couple of beers a day.
But I don't understand though. For the little bit that we had, not had anything to even do with it. I don't know if he had a heart attack or a stroke or an aneurysm or what happened to him. I don't know.
And were you guys together all day yesterday?
Yes.
Okay. Here?
Yes.
Neither of you left the apartment yesterday?
I think he drove up to the convenience store to get cigarettes.
Okay.
But I mean, you can walk there.
Does he have any history of using any drugs? I know he doesn't now because you said he doesn't, but
I don't know.
As far as you've ever known him, you've never seen him?
No. I mean, he's from Philadelphia, and he grew up in Philadelphia, and then he went to Massachusetts, and then from Massachusetts he came down here. So I don't really know a whole lot of medical history or anything.
How long have you guys been together?
Almost 4 years, 3.5 years.
You guys been living here the whole time?
Yes.
Okay. He's never been to the doctor or to the hospital during that time?
He and his brother got into a really bad argument at one point, and he had to have facial reconstruction. But he has been in the hospital from that, and then I talked him into going to see a regular physician so he could get just a regular checkup thing.
Yeah.
But there were no red flags.
How long ago was that?
See what a good girlfriend she is. She suggested that he went to that he go to the doctor and get a checkup after he had facial reconstruction. What kind of an argument did they have? That must have been a wicked fight between George and his brother.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know. She does want to come off as the ultimate caregiver. She is a real blessing in George's life, and even his probation officer or parole officer told her that.
Yes.
And she's very proud of that.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's interesting to me that she thinks she can control the narrative here and portray herself in a certain way, and the detectives aren't going to see the truth of it. Which of course they are. They're going to talk to other people. They're going to understand the dynamic here. They're going to understand what a toxic and dysfunctional relationship it was, and not just on George's end.
No, on both of theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
The surgery or
Yeah,
the doctor?
both.
Both.
The surgery, I think, was at this point, what, 2 years maybe? 2.5 years? The checkup was probably a good 2 years too.
Okay.
And the suitcase is still in there?
Yep, Ollie.
Is it normally stored down there? Did you guys travel recently?
No, he was going to start putting some of the, what do you call it, donations in there. So that's why.
That's why it's out?
Yes.
Okay. You guys didn't recently travel somewhere or anything like that?
After you zipped them up, did you move the bag around and mess with them at all, or you just zipped it up and walked away
And I
laughing?
both were laughing about it, but I went upstairs and I fell asleep.
Okay. But what position was he in when he went in? Was he sitting on his rear end and his head up and he just kind of bent over?
Okay, so like this is the suitcase. Like this was his head and then his knees right here and his feet were down.
So he was laying on his side?
Yes. Yes.
You just closed the flap and zipped it around
Yes.
him? Okay.
I believe we were playing.
Understandably, okay.
So he said that I needed to tell you guys about his family. Like, who do I talk to about that?
We're gonna do that once we walk through and see. Yeah, we're
not
gonna.
going anywhere. We're gonna be here
I'm just telling you, like,
yeah, this is gonna be a while.
I'm afraid for my life. I want you to know that. I am afraid
Why is that?
for my life. His family have never liked me. I'm the blue-eyed white devil, is what they call me. So,
yeah, they may call you that.
Yeah, I don't blame him. But get this blue-eyed white woman into protective custody right now. Get her a new identity. We must protect her.
Must protect her, yes, from this crazy family that is going to kill her. She's very concerned, and we're going to see that here too. She's very, very concerned about the family. And what you said before about controlling the narrative, she's so worried about not being able to do that, especially with his family.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
they've never liked me. They've never taken me in. They've never accepted me. I'll put it that way.
Have you called any of them?
Well, and it's interesting that she's trying to make it sound like it's a white thing. It's because she's white.
Yeah.
And I think that it goes much deeper than that because they know what the relationship is. They know that he has a problem with drinking. She has a problem with drinking. They're fighting all the time. He's going to jail. You know, and they know too that it's, you know, again, not just him, that it's the relationship that is very toxic. And I'm sure that they didn't like her. What's to like? Wouldn't you want somebody like that? I mean, he was not a stellar boyfriend. We know that.
Right.
You know, clearly, as far as a boyfriend is concerned, he's definitely not somebody that would be good in anybody's life. You know, he's violent, he drinks, he's unemployed, you know, he's not doing anything good.
Right. But she's the same.
Exactly. Right, exactly. So I'm sure that they would look at her as being a bad influence.
Yes.
You know, she's not helping him stay sober. She's not helping him I was going to say, like, not get in trouble, but obviously that has to do with him. You know,
Right.
he's obviously responsible for whatever violence that he does. But they're going to look at that relationship and just say it needs to stop. So, of course, they're not going to embrace Sarah.
No, certainly not. And she's super manipulative, narcissistic. She's a liar. And they're probably resentful that George is the one who ends up in jail every time they get in a fist fight. Because I think they were definitely mutually abusive to each other.
Yes.
And I'm not saying George shouldn't have gone to jail, but Sarah should have too.
Yeah, there was definitely mutual combat. And I think in one of the instances, that's what ended up happening. They didn't go to jail, but they didn't arrest anybody, from what I understand.
Oh, I know. Yeah, there was one time. I think they both went to jail one time.
Oh, they did?
Too.
Okay. Because they couldn't figure out who was the main.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because they were both telling different stories. They were changing their stories.
Right.
So the cops were like, all right, you both suck.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I'm sure that his family just wanted this to be over with. Like, this is not good, because everything would be high drama. Yes. And the one thing too is that he didn't have his own phone.
Right. They shared her phone.
Which means that anytime he wanted to talk to whomever, he did have 3 kids.
Yes, he did.
He had his ex-wife, who, of course, she makes sound like she's the devil.
Yeah, she literally called her a monster.
Right. So, and he had siblings. Well, we know the brother who beat him up some kind of way. But he had sisters and the rest of his family. So she would be in control of him talking to them.
Yeah.
Or having access. So yeah, I'm sure they didn't like her. What's to like?
Yeah.
We talked to his daughters yesterday.
No, I mean, like, about this. Does
No.
anyone know? Okay.
That's
so no one's gonna know until we will be making that notification. So
they're gonna kill me.
Okay. Well.
Do they live local?
Yes, they're down the road. They're going to kill me. His kids are going to kill me in Philadelphia. They're going to kill me. This was not intentional.
Okay.
And they're not going to understand that. They're not going to accept it.
We're gonna do a thorough investigation, and we will definitely make sure that you don't feel scared when we leave here. Okay.
When my 9-year-old.
Well, he's at school. He's with your husband.
I know. Well,
ex-husband.
Your husband said that, or your ex-husband said he made arrangements for your 9-year-old to be picked up.
Oh, okay, his mom, probably. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're going to go inside if that's okay.
Yes, please, but you guys just keep me posted.
Of course.
So I know what's going on.
Yes, ma'am.
And don't.
All you have to do is get their attention if you have a question or you need to talk to us. He's standing right there. She'll be right here.
Yeah. Okay, but will you guys tell me, like, so you're telling me, like, you won't call whoever it is without telling me, right?
No.
I mean, I have all their phone numbers.
We're not calling. We're not making phone calls. We're actually going to speak to them in person.
Yeah.
That'll
be later
They're
on.
going to. Okay.
It'll be later.
Prior to us making any
I'm
contact.
not going to be here.
Okay.
They're going to kill me.
Okay.
We'll address all of that, okay, before we leave. Okay?
Yep.
This was.
Okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
The neighbors are like, oh, the cops are here again.
Yeah, sure, it was a frequent occurrence.
Yeah. It would be weird, though, to have the crime scene tape up, though, right?
I'm
like,
sure, yeah.
What the hell happened? Yeah.
Her need to make herself the victim is so annoying.
Yes. How they're going to kill her. They're not going to understand that this was not intentional. And she's so afraid, and she needs to know what's going on. She needs to know when they're going to find out, how that's going to happen, what they're going to say. Yeah, because she's afraid for her life from these homicidal maniacs, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Just stay seated, okay, Sarah? I know you're panicking, okay? Just relax. We'll come and talk to you. We'll keep checking on you.
we're
You don't
here,
know
so
anything though, like why or how?
So we will not know the answer to that because we're not doctors. So what's going to happen is he's going to go to the medical examiner's office and he'll have what's called an autopsy. Yeah. That'll be first thing tomorrow morning. I'll know a lot, hopefully a lot more tomorrow morning as far as him. But I cannot, there's no way I could say how, why.
So just by looking at him, like, why is he purple?
Oh, that's normal when someone passes away. Lividity, you turn.
as soon as the heart stops beating, the blood starts to settle to the lowest points of the body, and then it just becomes very pronounced. So that's you just call it lividity. It happens to everybody.
I'm like really scared. I want you guys to know that.
Look around. You have all these deputies here, so while we're here, nothing's going to happen to you. Before we go and make any notifications, you'll have plenty of time to leave or do what you need to do. Whatever you need to do. Okay? And we can talk about that more in length. But, yeah, it's not going to be a surprise.
Real quick, and then,
but like, I don't, like, this was totally, like, not intentional. Like, that's what I'm scared about too. Like,
She's basically saying, I'm scared I'm going to get arrested.
Yes, but she never will say that, even during interrogation.
Mm-hmm.
You could tell that's what she was getting at, but she would never come right out and say, what's going to happen to me? Am I going to be arrested?
Right. I think she wants them to come right out and say it.
But she would say, like, what should I plan for?
Yeah.
What should I be doing?
Right.
And they're playing dumb. You know,
of
they're
course.
like, I can't tell you what you should be doing. Yeah, it's just interesting the way she says it.
Yeah.
We'll have all the answers. We'll have a lot more answers tomorrow after medical examiner looks at it. Like she said, what you're seeing here is common. This is us coming out to the scene. Yeah, his age, no real medical history that we know of. For him to have passed away, we come out and we do an investigation. Yeah. We come out and do an investigation. Medical examiner's office will be sending people out. This is what we do. If he was 75 years old and had a history of heart condition, we wouldn't be here.
I just don't know I don't know what it is.
You would be there if that 75-year-old with a heart condition was found in a suitcase.
Right. Right.
But they're trying to make it sound like this is normal.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, it's all just protocol.
Yeah, nothing to see here. You know,
mm-hmm.
we're homicide detectives, but we're not saying that you're a murderer or anything.
Right.
Exactly. And that's what we're here to find out. We're just here to get the answers. The answers that you want, the answers that his family's going to want.
I just really want to see my son. Like, I really need to see my son. Well, I mean, I know I can't go anywhere, but...
No. Right.
So do I...
You want your son brought there, you psycho?
However that can happen, yes.
Yeah, let's bring him to a crime scene.
Right.
Your 9-year-old, where mommy's hungover and could be arrested at any minute. Maybe she thinks they won't arrest her in front of a kid.
You know what? I think that she does think that. That's an excellent point, because she says that, I think, in her interrogation. And we're going to watch that as well next time.
Mm-hmm.
But she does say that, how she doesn't want anything to happen in front of her son.
Yeah, I'm sure nothing has ever happened in front of her son.
Oh, I know. I know, by her own doing, especially with the two of them together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
What a cheap, dirty dirtbag move. Oh, well, you don't want to traumatize my son, do you? By arresting me in front of him? This is all your fault, Mom of the Year.
If that child was there, she would be holding on to him for dear life.
Yeah. A human shield, like literally.
A human shield, yes. Exactly. Yeah.
You guys,
if you would, yes, please.
Is anybody else having to show up, or everybody's here that needs to be here?
My team's here that needs to be here. The medical examiners will show up when we call them, but we're not ready for them yet. So they're going to take him, they're going to take some photos, take him, but that's towards the end of it. And they'll be called well in advance when we're ready for them, but we're not ready for them at this point. So we won't be calling them quite yet.
Okay.
So like I said, I gotta go do some paperwork.
I am.
They're gonna chat with some people, and then we're gonna come back and talk to you if you're okay with that.
Yes, please.
So just give us a little bit more time. Like I said, I need to go and do that, and he's gonna go do what he needs to do.
But do you guys tell his family, like, today or after
Yes,
tomorrow?
We have to. It's the
By
law.
law, we have to go and make contact with the family.
Yeah.
They have to be notified.
Once our investigation is pretty much complete here, once we leave here, we will be going to.
But again, you'll know. We're not going to just go and do it without you knowing. You'll know. We'll talk to you prior to doing anything like that.
But how, I mean, I understand what you guys and how you do it, and, you know, so, but, like, what do you just tell him? What do you tell his parents? Like, what's the reason?
He passed away.
We tell them what we know at that point.
Yeah.
We tell them the truth.
And that we're going to be waiting for the autopsy results, and I will be at the autopsy in the morning, and hopefully the doctor will be able to give me some of what they think and see.
Yeah. We'll give them their number. They can contact them and get it from them.
But yeah, they're gonna know what we're here, what we're investigating, and that
They're gonna think I killed him.
The blue-eyed white devil killed George. Yeah.
Well, that's what she's asking. Are you going to tell them that I killed George?
Yes.
Because I don't want people to think that about me.
Yeah, she's probably hoping that they say that he died, and we don't know yet how he died because the autopsy hasn't been done. But she doesn't want it known that he was in a suitcase. She zipped it up, took him out, you know. She doesn't want them to know the truth, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Why would they think that?
They always have said that. They've always have said that.
What have they
I
said?
told you it's because I'm the blue-eyed white dragon. That's what they call me. Because they don't want him with me.
Oh, she's a white dragon now.
Right, the dragon. Yeah.
They call
Devil,
her
dragon.
Blue-eyed white dragon.
Right. And they're saying that, or they always have said that she was going to kill him. Why would they say that?
Why would they say that? Because they hate her? Not because they could see that their relationship was going to end in tragedy one way or the other.
Yes, because clearly there's an issue with domestic violence between the two of them. And those things always end badly. Can't have anything to do with that. It's because she's the blue-eyed white devil or dragon.
Yeah. She's a white dragon, precisely.
Yeah.
I think she's very flattered by that. I don't think anybody ever called her that. I think she just made it up. But I think she quite likes that little nickname.
Maybe makes it seem like she's feared, or she's kind of like diabolical, you know, like the villain.
Yeah, I think because she said it 2 or 3 times now. I think she just really likes that.
Yeah.
We've just not really been around his family because he chooses me over them. Even after I've encouraged him numerous times to go over there and see his family. They've never accepted me, and they've always been really unforgiving, I'll say that, where they've never accepted me, and everybody in his family has heard.
Sorry about the wind. It's almost over.
To kick my ass, so especially his sister. He had to pull her off me one time.
Do you have somewhere safe that you can go tonight?
Both my parents are deceased, my grandparents are deceased, my aunt and uncle are deceased. I got nobody. I have a brother that's in the Marines, and I've got another one that's in jail.
Unless the brother that's Marines, is he local?
No. Well, he in Altamont, but I think he's doing whatever Marine thing he's doing.
I just kind of like that last part. He's doing whatever Marine thing he's doing. So I wanted to keep that in there. But yeah, she's saying she doesn't have anybody yet. The one person that she called, that she was so desperate to make sure that he comes over and fixes her problems, just like always, right? Mm-hmm. She doesn't name him. She says, no, I don't have anywhere safe to go. I don't have my parents, my grandparents, no one. And there's the guy who is the father of your son, the place that you go to when you run away.
Yeah, her ex-husband too. Like, I think it seems, at least, that he's kind of gone above and beyond as an ex-husband. He
Oh,
doesn't have
yes.
to do shit for her anymore.
No, he doesn't. He absolutely doesn't. No. And he seems just like, he seems like a good guy, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Just level-headed, rational. So I know that he filed for divorce from her.
Hmm.
And one of the main reasons was her drinking.
Yes.
That it was escalating. And that must have been really, really tough to deal with.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if he isn't of a similar persuasion. If he's not getting shit-faced too, then
Yeah.
I'm sure it was. And he's trying to take care of their son.
Right. Who would have been
And-
even younger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that must have been really tough.
And then he still let Sarah, whether he should have or not, is another topic. But he still let Sarah be around their son.
Right.
And I imagine it's because he wanted, his son to have a mother. I'm sure he didn't do it because he just didn't care and wanted to put his son in harm's way, which you can't deny that he, the child would be in harm's way if he was unsupervised with Sarah.
Yeah.
But I think her ex-husband just really, he wanted to help her. He wanted her to do well and to be there for their son. Because he put up a ton of money for her defense.
Wow.
Private defense lawyers are so expensive.
Definitely. Yeah, for a murder charge. I don't remember where I saw this, but was it you that told me it's like 200 grand?
No, I didn't tell you that.
Oh, you know what? I think this may have been in reference to the Karen Reed trial that just happened. She has private attorneys. And I think that's where it came up because, people were curious. Yeah. And I can't remember where I saw it or who told me. But that a private defense for murder could be about 200 grand. I mean, especially considering that these things take years sometimes. Yeah. So she's been in jail. Now, she hasn't gone to trial yet. She's been in jail since February 25th, 2020. And she's still there because, her trial should have happened already.
Yeah.
So we're a couple of years overdue in her trial. But of course, she hasn't been able to make that happen. And sometimes trials can take forever because there's a lot of things involved, legally speaking. And it can take some time to prepare and all of that. But in this case, in Sarah's case, most of the problem is her.
Yeah. Imagine being so ungrateful that your ex-husband who divorced you because you're such a piece of shit spends tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for a private attorney for you. And you say, well, they're not doing good enough.
Right.
My God.
Well, it's certainly going to be interesting because now she is going to be forced to defend herself. So she has been through 8 attorneys. I believe that does not include the private that she had first. So I think it's 8 public defenders. And the judge said absolutely not on a 9th one. Now you're going to do it yourself.
Yeah, he said just because you're entitled to a public defender doesn't mean you're entitled to unlimited public defenders.
Correct.
And you can just keep going through them until you find the one that, you prefer.
And if it's someone who she prefers, I wonder what type of an attorney they would be. Right.
Well, because that's, I believe, something all the attorneys who have asked themselves to be removed from her case, they cited like ethical issues.
Okay.
Like maybe she was asking them to say or do things that they found unethical.
Yeah. Yeah, she absolutely could have. I mean, I'm thinking immediately about lying.
Yes.
They cannot lie.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I can see that as being a possibility. Wow. And it's funny because the 8 attorneys all filed motions to withdraw, and they were all approved.
Hmm.
And it makes me think of poor Kirk Nurmi with the Jody
Yeah.
Arias. He
I was
filed
just thinking,
twice to get
yeah,
out.
I think it's pretty hard to get out, right? Like,
I would imagine I would think it would have to be an issue that's pretty significant.
hmm
Not simply because you don't like the person or that wouldn't. I mean, because you would be dealing with those people all the time, right? And
right.
and I'm sure it doesn't really matter who your client is. You're not defending your client because you like them.
Hmm.
It's because there's an ethical duty to do that. That's what your job is. So
Right.
it's to defend them legally. You're not defending their action because you want to see them get out and be free.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, he tried to get out twice, and the judge said, nope, you're going to stay there. So the fact that there's been these 8 who, and I'm not fully versed in how long any of these took. Did they walk in there one day and say, I'm out? And the judge said, okay, on to the next, or what type of proceedings were involved, how long they took, and all of that. But yeah, she's been through so many. So many. So I remember the judge had ordered all of the discovery to be sent to her in jail.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Backfired on you.
It sure did. It sure did. So, I mean, maybe she's going to get the defense that she truly wanted at this point because I think she likes herself.
She does, but I think she also doesn't want to represent herself. Like, she is asking for another attorney, or she was, and
Hmm.
the judge said no, of course. But now we get to see just how intelligent she is. She did say she was a straight A student. She
She
excels
did.
at everything she does. She said that.
She did say that.
So, I mean, excel at law now. Should be no problem.
Should be no problem. She's been on the inside for long enough, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. It'll be very interesting. So now the next clip that we're going to listen to is a car interview. And this is going to be on the same day as this body cam footage. So she's speaking to the 2 detectives that have already spoken to her outside here, but they're going to be in their car and they're going to talk some more. So I think what is so great about hearing these in a row from the very beginning is that you can see how the story has a foundation and that foundation stays the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they were playing, they were doing a puzzle, they were doing art, they had a bottle of wine, they decided to play hide and seek. He got into the suitcase, she zipped it up. She thought it was funny. They were both laughing about it. She went upstairs, fell asleep, and forgot. That is the foundation of the story. But then, as she continues to talk and tells the story again and again, little details start to get added. So, in this car interview, we're going to see some details that get added that feel like they come out of left field because you're like, well, you didn't say that before,
Mm-hmm.
but she says it here. So we're going to take a listen. Now, I did cut this down. So I took out the very beginning where they just introduce themselves, in the recording. They do read her the Miranda rights as well. So where we're going to pick up is right where the interview starts.
Last night, you said
said that you and your boyfriend George were here at your residence and didn't really leave that day. You said that he went to the store to buy cigarettes.
Yes.
What time was that around? If you recall. Was it light out still, dark out?
Yes, it was light out still.
It was still light out. Okay. But he's the only person that left, and he came back.
Yes.
I'm assuming. Okay.
It's right down the street.
It's down the street. Okay. And tell me what you guys were doing next. Like what was happening?
We had a bottle of wine. We painted. We drew. We did puzzles.
Do you remember what wine you guys were drinking?
It's Woodbridge Chardonnay.
Okay.
The bottles are in the trash.
Okay. Chardonnay.
Mhm.
Okay. And do you remember around like what time this was that you guys were sharing the bottle?
So now we get the bottles are in the trash. So there's one detail that comes out where there's obviously more than one.
Oh, that's right. Love that.
Wine, painting, doing puzzles.
I'm gonna say 4-ish.
Okay. And was this before he went to the store or after?
I'm sorry?
Had he already gotten home from the store at this point to buy the cigarettes?
Yes.
Okay. So it was around 4 p.m.
Ish.
that you realized, and you guys were doing
Puzzles and art,
okay.
listening to music, enjoying each other's company.
And all downstairs, upstairs? Where did you
Downstairs.
guys? Downstairs. Okay.
We usually sit on the back porch because we smoke. You're not allowed to smoke inside, so.
Okay. And who was here last night? Was it just the two of you?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. No one ever came over at any point?
No.
No. Okay.
We called his daughters on FaceTime.
Okay.
We were just literally just enjoying one another's company.
Okay. And you guys share the phone that you have,
Yes.
correct? Okay. And the phone's located in there, I think, in the
Yes.
kitchen area. Yeah. Okay. So tell me what happens next. You're painting. You guys are doing this puzzle together. You obviously finished the bottle of wine.
Yes.
Did you have 1 or 2 bottles of wine?
Well, we had one previously that was maybe not even half full.
Okay.
But then,
So you finished that one and then you had the full one.
yes.
Okay.
And sorry, what was the question?
What did you guys do next after the bottle of wine? Like after you
Well,
guys
we
finished the wine?
We had the bottle of wine while we were doing our arts and crafts.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, we were puzzled out, we were painted out.
Mm-hmm.
So, being silly, let's play hide and seek, which we had played before. Like, I don't know if you've opened the door on the top of the stairwell, like, he and I have hidden in there before. Like, just having fun and enjoying each other's company.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's literally all it was. And then the suitcase is downstairs because I was telling you we were getting ready to do donations.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's not a very good suitcase, what was the question? I'm sorry.
You were just explaining to me the night.
Oh, he decided to hide in there. So, being silly, he and I mean, were sitting there laughing at it, like with him in there. And then, so I didn't zip it up all the way, but I mean enough to where his little fingers were out there and whatever, but still having a good time and whatever. Then I guess I decided to go upstairs, and I don't know, I fell asleep. So I woke up this morning and again thought he was downstairs on the laptop looking for a job, as he usually is. And then thought, where is he? Is he on the back porch? Is he in the bathroom? Like, where is he? And then I came to about the suitcase. So I opened the suitcase, I took him out, stretched him out, started to do CPR. Where air was coming out, but and then like whatever gurgle. He made. So I'm trying to do CPR on him, shaking him, trying to get him to come to. But I could tell by looking at him something was wrong. He's been losing his teeth lately and has been complaining about his chest hurts, which is why I keep trying to get him to go to.
Okay, so there's another detail. They asked her multiple times if he had any health problems.
Uh-huh.
And now she's talking about not necessarily just his teeth falling out. I don't know why that's something that she's mentioning. Maybe because he's in pain or something. But his chest, he's having chest pain.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that something that would be important?
Yeah, certainly. I don't think it's true at all. I think she, that's why she's thrown it out there. Oh, I don't know if he had a heart attack or an aneurysm or I don't know what happened. Now she's trying to lay a foundation that he actually might have some medical problems. And that's what happened in the suitcase.
Yeah.
That, a heart attack seems likely. He was having chest pain.
Yeah, he was complaining, right? He was
Yeah,
complaining before. You're right.
The doctor, but because he nor I have a job or insurance, has been putting it off. So again, I didn't know what to do, so I called Brian.
So this heart condition, potentially, was never diagnosed. There's no history of it ever being noted because he never went to the doctor.
She tried to get him to the doctor, though.
Yeah, she did try. Yeah, because obviously it was really important.
Mm-hmm.
But then 2 years prior, she had him go to a regular doctor after he had his facial reconstruction surgery. And there were no red flags there.
Right.
So, I mean, it's possible that he could have developed something because now he's having chest pain. And his teeth are falling out. Why are his teeth falling out?
Yeah, I don't think that right. I don't think that's a symptom of heart disease or I don't know. I don't know why she would be mentioning that.
Yeah. I know that sometimes it can be the other way where heart conditions can develop because of oral problems.
Okay.
With teeth, especially if there's an abscess or something like that.
Oh, I didn't know
a lot
that.
of infection. Yeah. But I'm sure that wasn't the case. You're right. I think she's just trying to suggest that something could have happened to him naturally.
Right.
That he didn't die because he was in there. He died because of this other problem that he potentially had. So I think perhaps they planted that seed when they were asking her. And it finally hit her like, okay, they're going to go and talk to his family. So I need to start talking about some health problems that he might have so that they can bring that up, perhaps, if they believe it. But of course, she's probably thinking that they will.
Probably.
I called him. He came over, just walked in, and then walked out. I grabbed my phone, and I called you guys. From there, here we are.
Okay. The first time you woke up this morning, did you look at your phone to see what time it was?
No.
Okay.
Most of the time, I'll wake up, but because he nor I have a job, I'll usually just lay in the bed for a little bit longer because the house is clean. There's nothing else that we can do. Me thinking he's on the laptop looking for jobs, I can't use a laptop. So most of the time I'll just stay in the bed and collect my thoughts and get ready for the day.
So do you have any idea what time you woke up that first time? What time it may have been? I don't know if you guys have
I'm going to say 11 something. 11
Okay.
something.
Okay.
Maybe.
Is that when you finally got up, or is that the first time you woke up?
No, that's the time that I decided to get up because I figured he was downstairs on the laptop. So let him look for jobs on the laptop, and then it usually I'll clean, he'll look for jobs, or vice versa, where I'll look for jobs and he'll clean.
Okay. So you think you got out of bed?
They're just busy little bees over there. Very productive.
Yeah, she just said, well, we have nothing to get up for because neither of us work. So I just lay in bed and don't even bother looking at the time.
Right. The time is just a thing I don't have to live by.
Yeah, unimportant. She does have a 9-year-old son.
Yes, but he was in school.
Yeah.
And she didn't have to go and get him quite yet. And maybe she wouldn't have that day. Who knows?
Yeah, probably not.
After 11 at some point?
Yes.
Okay. But we can't recall which time. Do you think you were up for like hours before that, or collecting your thoughts?
Brian, because I was supposed to have my son today to pick him up from school. Brian usually calls to make sure, hey, are you sure you're getting Lucas today? Because I've had job interviews.
Right.
Sarah. Sarah.
Yeah, nice her.
That is not the reason why he was calling to make sure because you're so busy with your job interviews, right? Mm-hmm. It couldn't possibly because you're usually passed out drunk, or maybe you're still sleeping, trying to sleep it off. Couldn't be because of that, right?
Yeah, I don't understand. Well, I mean, I do understand. I take that back. But this need to like try to present herself in a certain way it's just so contradictory to common sense, because like I keep saying, the detectives are going to talk to her ex-husband and he's going to tell them, yeah, I have to call her 14 times a day to make sure she's up because she's probably passed out drunk. You're not fooling them. Or maybe in this very moment, they wouldn't have reason not to believe that she's just so busy with job interviews all day long, every day, that her ex-husband has to really work to get in touch with her because she's just so busy. Just one after another. Like, boom, job
all the
interview
time.
done.
Yes.
On to the next one. She doesn't have a job.
She hasn't had a job in years.
Right.
Yeah, hasn't had a job in years. Neither has he. And they're just constantly, if they're not cleaning, then they're on the computer looking for jobs.
Or doing puzzles.
Yeah, but only after they're done with that, with doing the important stuff. But yeah, they do a lot of arts and crafts, listen to music, and all of that. But also, time isn't important. So, so when you wake up in the morning, you just lay there and collect your thoughts.
Someone who has job interviews all day, you'd think they would look at the clock.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, it is funny, the image that she's trying to project to the police. She's working so hard to defend herself and make it seem like this is just an awful tragedy that she didn't have a hand in. It was an accident. Right. And, therefore she's just a normal, average person who's a productive member of society. She's not fall down drunk at 9 a.m. She's not that person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, she's a victim. In fact, this happened to her. She had to open that suitcase and see the dead love of her life, who she loved so much, and she was trying to help because he had so many problems, but not her. She would have more of a defense if she admitted, like, oh man, I've been really struggling with alcoholism. I get super drunk and I lose control. I don't know. Like, it's like the difference between driving drunk and killing someone, or being stone cold sober and mowing somebody down. Mm-hmm. Like, you're going to get in trouble either way.
Yeah.
But you don't look quite so evil if you were just drunk and lost control. And there's an option for treatment in that case. Mm-hmm. If it's just, no, I'm perfect. I have no issues with alcohol. I just have a couple glasses of wine with dinner, like every sophisticated woman my
That's
age.
right.
Then
That's
what
right.
is there to treat? Then okay, you're just an evil bitch who locked your boyfriend in a suitcase and went to sleep.
I know. I know. She works really hard at that. And I do think that she believes that they'll believe her.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that she thinks, oh, yeah, well, if they go and talk to my ex husband, he's going to tell them that I'm not the most attentive mother, that I've had problems keeping my appointments with my son and having him come over and going picking him up on the days that I'm supposed to and everything. Maybe she feels like nobody will say any of that.
I think she's used to like bullying people into not necessarily believing her lies, but like intimidating them until they just kind of concede and say like, yeah, okay, you say so. And I think that because of the way, like I said earlier, she would get defensive when they would ask her a question and she'd start getting loud and like sort of belligerent. I think and we see that more in her interrogation too.
Yeah.
Whenever she's challenged on something, she'll get loud and like aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the detectives aren't going to back down to that. They're unfazed by it totally. But maybe her ex-husband was different. Maybe people in her normal life just don't want to deal with that kind of shit. So instead of arguing it or pointing out whatever lie, they're just like, okay, sure, Sarah. So it's worked for her before in some sense or another.
No, you're right.
Are you going to pick up Lucas? So after he called like maybe 3, 4 times, maybe 5, I finally answered, and that's like...
Do you think you were sleeping and missed those calls?
No, I ignored them.
You ignored them?
Because he's notorious for blowing up my phone.
Okay.
But I understand why, because he's making sure that Lucas gets home.
Right, yeah, okay.
And to do whatever he needs to do day-wise so he can schedule around it.
But why not answer the phone?
Because he's notorious for blowing up her phone. She's not going to answer it all the time.
But if she just answered on that first call and said, yep, don't worry, I know, I got to pick up Lucas, don't worry, then he wouldn't call her. He wouldn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
She's so full of shit.
I know.
That time when you were ignoring those phone calls?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so we're not really sure what time you woke up initially, but you were upstairs collecting your thoughts. You figured he was on the laptop downstairs, so you were just getting ready for your day.
Yes.
You finally got out of bed at sometime after 11 a.m. And had gone downstairs.
Yes.
Okay.
Looking for him. And
couldn't find him. You looked outside, couldn't find him anywhere.
He wasn't in the bathroom. I was thinking maybe he's in the bathroom. But then I came to and then you the suitcase.
And then you called Brian.
Yes. He
told
came
him
over.
to come over.
Yes, he came over.
He lives down the road, right? Not very far. He came over, walked in, basically walked out. You called 911.
Yes, I had my phone in my hand. I just wanted to wait for him to get there because I didn't know what to do.
Right. Okay. And then we arrived.
Like, I couldn't, I still, I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know what happened, but, like, my whole thing is, the whole, like, teeth losing thing, and I don't know what happened. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. He and I were having an amazing time yesterday, like we normally do.
No arguments?
No.
Nothing? Okay.
And the thing with him, though, is, which is why we've been doing puzzles and artwork lately, is that he's been stressing about a job, of course.
Of course.
Which we've talked about. So what I did was start having him do puzzles and artwork to keep his mind off of it.
Okay.
So again, with being the amazing girlfriend, helping him with his stress by doing some arts and crafts and puzzles, some activities to keep him occupied.
Yeah, she's so insufferable with this. I'm perfect. I took such good care of him. And is that really the best course of action if he is stressing out about not having a job and presumably having zero money
Mm-hmm.
and relying completely on her for money, which she relies on her ex-husband for because she's also unemployed.
Yes.
You're going to do puzzles?
And paint.
Like puzzles and paint and drink wine. But I feel like there's more productive things you could do. Like actually look for a job. Like actually look for one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm curious why they weren't able to get employment, like anything. Because this was in 2020, but this was before the 2020 happened.
Yeah.
So, what was going on? Why were they unable to? I wonder what their job history looks like.
I would guess that the only thing stopping them was their alcohol abuse.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to hold down a job and get drunk at the same time.
Yeah.
So I would guess that they weren't looking.
No, I would guess that they weren't either. It's possible that he was in a way. I know that they were saying that he worked at an Ace Hardware before, and I think that store ended up closing at some point. I don't know how far, back that happened, but they were together when this happened. So I mean, it is possible. And I think also that could have been something that she was holding over his head as well, because whatever they were living on would have been coming from her.
Yes.
So, and that could be the reason why he didn't have a phone. She wouldn't let him.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't have any money of his own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
His ex-wife is all over him about sending money, which he can't do because he doesn't have a job.
Right.
So he was stressing about that. He's been stressing about the job. But that's why I started to buy puzzles and paint to get his mind off of them, which is what I don't know if you noticed on the wall in there, it's all of our artwork and stuff.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, music, art, and playing with the dogs, dancing around the room with the dogs. And then decided to play hide and seek. Because we're always trying to outdo each other on where we can hide the best.
How often do you guys play hide and seek?
Gosh, that was maybe the third time? Maybe.
Okay. Is it a more recent game you've gotten into, or 3 times in total in your relationship you're talking about?
Lately.
Lately.
Because again, like, we were puzzled out. But we painted already, so why not?
So you were downstairs hanging out. Do you remember around what time you guys started playing hide and seek?
Honestly, I don't.
Do you remember if it was dark out?
It was dark.
Okay.
It was dark. But my thing is like when I spend time with him and I tried to get him to start doing it, I don't look at the clock.
Okay.
I'm here with him and we're having a good time. I don't need to know what time it is.
Right. I didn't know if you were like on your phone, if you got a text message, if you got a phone call last night.
We called his daughters yesterday, FaceTime.
Right. What time was that at?
I don't know without looking at my phone.
Okay.
But ended up.
Would that be the only activity that you had yesterday on your phone?
I called Lucas. I talked to Lucas. He's my son.
Okay.
I always call him.
Morning?
No, it was evening.
Evening? Okay.
But
I'm just trying to help you, like, remember something you did right before hide and seek that would help you remember a time or give us a good time frame, because that's important for us to know. We want to be able to tell the doctors that.
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Okay. So when you called Lucas, was it before or after hide and seek?
Before.
Okay. And when you called and FaceTime, his daughters, Before or after hide and seek?
Before.
Okay. And did you call the daughters first and then Lucas, or Lucas first and then the daughters?
I know I talked to Lucas, but then we talked to the daughters afterwards.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't remember if she called us. No, I know he called Cookie. But yes, we called her.
What are the two daughters' names? Or just one? Did you say one
He
daughter?
has 3 children. It's Anna, Cookie, what her real name is Destiny. And then he has a handicapped son, Georgie.
Okay. Who did you call, though, yesterday? Who did he call?
Cookie.
And what is Cookie's real name?
Destiny.
Does she have his last name or something else?
It's Torres. Because she remarried, but I don't know her last name.
Okay. Okay, so you know it's dark out, but you're not really sure what time it is. You play hide and seek. How long do you guys play hide and seek before he decides to get into the suitcase?
Oof.
Approximate.
Wasn't really. I hid upstairs in the shower.
Mm-hmm.
And then came downstairs because I was tired of hanging out in the shower.
Okay.
So that's when he was playing around in the suitcase. So
Okay.
Okay, so that sounds really weird because they can't both hide at the same time.
Yeah, the hide and seek thing has been driving me crazy. Do you think they were really playing hide and seek, or she convinced him to get in the suitcase some other way?
I think that it's possible they were playing hide and seek. I
That's not how you
do.
play, though.
No, I know it's not how you play. I know. You're not supposed to just hide at the same time. She's like, all right, well, I'm tired of hiding, so I guess I'm going to come out now. That's not how it works. I know.
Yeah, I'm mad you didn't come find me because you were hiding too. Maybe
Right.
there was just a miscommunication. They both
There
thought
was, yeah.
they were going to hide.
Yeah.
But him getting in the suitcase and her zipping him up, that's not playing hide and seek either. She found him.
Right.
Like, the game is over now. Why are you going to zip him up in there?
Well, my thinking was that he was in there. He got in there himself, and then he put the flap down, right? So he covered himself up, and that was going to be his hiding place.
Oh, I see. And she found him and zipped him in?
She found him in there and zipped him in, yeah.
I see. Okay, that makes sense.
Because she wouldn't have been able to get him in there herself.
Right.
You know, it's not like she forced
Stuffed
him in there. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So we had to do that. Yeah. I think they did play hide and seek. I think that's the reason why. You know, the only other option would be is if he decided to get in there, or she was like, hey, I wonder if you fit in there, or something. I had seen a video pop up that I think was her son getting into a suitcase.
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
Was that before this happened?
Yes.
Okay. And was it her that was zipping him in there?
I am not sure.
Okay.
But I do know that there was either a video or like a picture on Facebook or something of her son in a suitcase.
Right. So I think it's possible that she could have suggested it too.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Like, oh, hey, I wonder if you fit in here. Wouldn't it be funny?
Yeah, Lucas did it.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if you can do it too. You know, but I think that even if that were the case, I think she would say that that was the case.
Oh, okay. So you think they were probably just really playing hide
I
and
think
seek?
they really were because even under that circumstance, that would explain him being in there.
Right.
You know, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
You know, there's no crime in that. So if she was like, oh, we were having fun, you know, we were having a glass of wine, we were done with everything else, and I said, hey, can you fit in there? Lucas did that before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it'll be fun. And then she zipped him up.
Okay, so they were playing hide
They
and
were
seek.
playing hide and seek. I think that they were just really drunk,
Yeah,
you know.
and they were all puzzled out.
They were,
So,
yeah. So what else are you gonna do?
yeah,
You're gonna play a game, right?
the natural next step is
Yeah.
hide and seek.
Right. Now, obviously, it didn't end with anyone laughing. Well, Sarah kind of did,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
In the videos that she took. And as a matter of fact, the picture on the right with the suitcase is from the video. So, how you see the suitcase there, it's upside down.
Right.
She did that.
Right. Yes.
So, that's another important part of the case as well, is that he obviously didn't get in like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, of course, yes, can you, if the suitcase was upside down, would you be able to get in like that? Yeah, you could. It wouldn't make sense to. Right?
Right. No. Well, in the first video she took, it was right side up.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So she turned it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's a really important part as well. But yeah, I think they were just playing, or it started out that way anyway. And we can hear in the video when we get there how drunk she sounds.
Yes,
You
she
know.
definitely was.
And I think that between the two of them, you know, they could be having a decent night. I mean, she goes on and on about that, about how what a great time they were having together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that for them, it's likely that the anger happens very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they could be having fun, but then it just, because they're drunk, any little thing is going to trigger one of them to get angry.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Because we both thought it was funny that, oh yeah, well, I'm going to zip you up. Uh-huh. You didn't come look for me. So, again, it's a broken suitcase, but...
What do you mean by broken?
It's only got one of these. But because I didn't zip it up all the way, he was doing the...
You mean it doesn't have, like, the pull part?
Correct.
Okay, but
I think it's got a, what do you call it? A paper clip.
Okay. So the zipper to it is missing, like the actual zipper that attaches to it to help you open and close is missing, but you think a paper clip was on it instead?
I believe there's a paper clip on it, because I know that the last time...
That's what you used to, like, help assist you?
Well, or you can just stick your fingers in there and...
Right, yeah. You
unzip it yourself, which is why I did not zip it up all the way.
Okay. So how much did you zip it up?
I mean, I don't really know.
You said his fingers were able to stick out?
Yeah, two fingers.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm figuring he'll get it. But then I wanted to go upstairs and waited for him, and eventually I guess I fell asleep. I had the dogs in the bed with me, was warm, and then fell asleep.
Yeah, had the dogs in the bed, was warm, all cuddled up and cozy. Definitely not because you were drunk.
Right.
I was
Definitely
warm.
not. Yeah. It probably was warm.
Yeah, I'm sure. It's these, like, insignificant details she adds in there just to make it more believable in her mind. Or just to justify it more. It's so dumb.
So you guys are joking. He's in there. You said you could see two of his fingers?
Yes.
And then, like, you just decided, okay, I'm going to go upstairs now? Or?
Because I figured he would get out and then go upstairs and have intimate relations like we normally do.
Mm-hmm.
But I fell asleep.
Okay.
And he never came upstairs. So, again, I'm thinking he's downstairs on the laptop earlier today.
Okay.
And then remembered.
Okay. So, is this something that do you guys play hide and seek before you have sexual intercourse, or do you guys just play hide and seek because you're bored and you're just trying to pass time and it's fun?
We were, again, puzzled out. Can't paint anymore. Even started to purge some of the art that's on the wall now, so.
Okay, so that's where it cuts off. There's no more of that recording that's available.
Okay.
Unfortunately. I did look in multiple places, but every single one was the same. So I'm not sure what happened there. But do you think that he had 2 fingers sticking out of the suitcase?
No, 100% he did not.
No.
And the video shows that
Mm-hmm.
he didn't. Even if he did, though, which he didn't, just to be clear.
Yeah.
But even if he did, he's so drunk in that suitcase and is having trouble breathing. Could anyone reasonably believe that he could get himself out of there, even if he had a finger poking out?
Right.
You know?
And plus the zipper was broken. It doesn't
Right.
zip from the inside.
Right. That's another thing. I don't know how difficult, even if his fingers were out, I don't know how difficult it would be to unzip from the inside.
And plus, the thing is, too, is that they didn't see him, the police didn't see him in the suitcase.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't know. I mean, we can imagine how he was positioned. Obviously, he was on his side,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
But we don't know where his hands were. He was scrunched up.
Yes.
He couldn't
been
move.
Flipped over. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And in the videos, you can see him trying to move, which is so awful.
We don't. It is. I agree. We don't know, though, if he was face down all night.
Mm-hmm.
If she ever flipped the suitcase back over. Because you're right. The police never saw him in there. She had gotten him out.
Right. So where were his hands? He couldn't move them like that.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have anywhere to move. He couldn't move his limbs.
Yeah, especially if he was face down.
Mm-hmm.
If the suitcase was face down, what could he possibly do?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously nothing.
Right. There was an interview with a neighbor, their direct neighbor that shares a wall with them.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he was obviously very used to them and the noises that they would make.
Mm-hmm.
But that night, there was a very loud crash. So I know that there's been some speculation that the suitcase was actually upstairs.
Oh.
And
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. And that I don't see how she could throw him downstairs because she was drunk, number one, right? And that would be difficult to do. That'd be very heavy.
She could kick him down the
She
stairs.
could kick. But, and I don't know what he means by crash. Does he mean hearing like a long tumble down the stairs? You know?
Yeah.
Did it sound like somebody fell down the stairs? He said crash. And he didn't say a bang. He didn't
Or
say
a series of
thump.
bangs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm curious what that is. The other thing is I don't know from the upstairs, is there like a balcony?
I don't know. But, I mean, George did have injuries.
He did. Yeah. I don't think any of them were broken bones, though.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so either. It was just bruising.
Bruising, yes.
And he had scratches on his back.
Mm-hmm. And I think they said he had a black eye.
Yeah. So, I mean, that could be from a physical fight with them or yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many stairs they had and how much damage would be done if you
Yeah.
pushed them down the stairs in a suitcase.
Right. It's also possible that she was hitting him through the suitcase.
Mm-hmm.
You know, kicking maybe, something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah. So I had mentioned before about a theory.
Mm-hmm.
And so do you think that she did this on purpose as far as him dying is concerned?
No, I don't think she thought he was gonna die.
Okay. I don't think she thought that either.
Yeah.
Because obviously people would raise the question of, well, why would she take that video? Why would she take that video? And I think that she took the video, and I had heard this too, and it makes perfect sense, that she was going to taunt him with it later.
Mm-hmm.
Because she says something about ransom in there.
Oh, I thought I heard her say that, but I couldn't make it out.
Yeah, it's very mumbled. It's very mumbled. But she talks about ransom. And do you want to watch the video? I have it up.
Yeah, we can watch it.
Let's see.
I've seen it, so I'm a little desensitized.
Yeah. So if anyone isn't, certainly this will be a
Yeah,
good
it's not
time.
graphic or anything, of course. It's not.
It's
It's just, it's disturbing.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable, of course. Let's see here. Okay. So you can see it moving, and you can see how much he can't move. Now she's taking the video, and of course it's moving all over the place, the phone, but you can see the suitcase itself moving, and right now it's upside down.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
For everything you've done to me.
Sarah.
Fuck you.
Sarah.
Fuck you.
Sarah.
Stupid.
Sarah.
That's my name. Don't wear it up.
Sarah. I can't fucking breathe, babe. Seriously.
Yeah, that's when you do when you choke me.
Sarah. 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 Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
That's on you.
Sarah, I can't breathe.
It's on you.
Sarah.
Real ransom. I want to get video for it extra.
See?
What did she just say?
She said ransom. I'm going to make a video for it extra.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
wanna
Remember,
hear it
guys,
back?
she is not drunk.
No, she's not drunk. Do you want to hear it again?
Sure.
That one part, just, I'm going to go back a few seconds if I can.
I want to get video for it extra. Because I got this.
Sarah.
Real ransom.
Sarah. Sarah, I can't breathe, babe.
Oh. That's what I feel like when you ching on me.
Sarah.
Fuck you.
Fucking breathe, Sarah.
Yeah. You should probably shut the fuck up.
Sarah.
Shh.
Okay. So there's the 2-minute video. And again, he's obviously struggling. He doesn't have 2 fingers out. He's not able to get himself out of there. the suitcase is upside down. He doesn't have a chance.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't think, like I said, I don't think she thought he was going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think she believed him when he said he couldn't breathe.
Okay.
Because he's talking. So maybe, you know, she was also very, very drunk, but maybe she understood that it was difficult to breathe, but not that he could not breathe.
Right. So kind of like when he chokes her.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was definitely a malicious. You can't
It
deny
was.
that.
Yeah. I mean, that's why she's charged with second-degree murder.
Mm-hmm.
I think what happened was she made the video. She left him in there. He was calling out for her.
Mm-hmm.
She went upstairs, thought she was just going to leave him there for a little bit or however long, and she passed out.
Or overnight. Maybe she didn't give a fuck if she left him overnight.
I don't know.
Without realizing that he would die in there. Maybe she thought, good, stay in there overnight. You deserve it.
Yeah, right. Right, it could be. Who knows what's going on in her mind, you know? Especially her drunk mind. Like, oh, fuck him. I'm just gonna...
Mm-hmm.
You know, she's clearly
exactly.
very, very intoxicated.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, I come back to, one bottle of wine. And I know certainly for somebody who's not a drinker, having a couple of glasses of wine is going to make somebody a little silly, right?
Mm-hmm.
She is very drunk, and I'm wondering how big those bottles were. Maybe they were big bottles.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a random thought. Because it just feels like 1.5 bottles is not going to be enough for the two of them, who clearly drank quite a lot. Unless they had other things, but they just talk about the wine.
I think it also depends on how quickly you drink it.
Yeah.
Maybe they pounded those bottles of wine.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because it seems like, if of course her timeline can't really be believed, right? Because she doesn't look at the clock, even though she said they started things around 4:00 or something like that. So it had been quite some time for them. And she was probably still drinking when she was doing the video, and when she went upstairs, I bet you she had a glass.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. If I drank a whole bottle of wine by myself, I would definitely be talking like Sarah Boone there.
Well, we're going to do that one day. We're going to do a stream, and we're going to each have a bottle of wine and see what happens.
Oh, God.
Yeah, exactly. And then we'll never be heard from again.
I know, exactly. Then we will disappear.
You know what your problem is? Start going on rants, yeah. But yeah, I hadn't even considered her thinking, I'm just going to leave him there all night and see how he likes it. Mm-hmm. I don't know, I was just thinking that she would get him at some point, like not too long after.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I wouldn't either, because the thing is, why would you go upstairs? Yeah, unless you were
get into bed.
Right. If you weren't planning on going to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think the breakdown of the story is. It's like, okay, he was in the suitcase, okay. And then I went upstairs and went to sleep. Why did you go upstairs and go to sleep if he's in the suitcase? It's not like you could have forgotten that he was there. Clearly, she didn't.
No, I think she wanted to punish him in the suitcase. I mean, she admits that. Oh,
no, she does. Make him squirm, yeah. Make him squirm a little bit.
You know what? I'll give him 5 minutes in there. Mm-hmm. She says that later on.
Yep.
And you're right. 5 minutes and 12 hours are two very different things. Mm-hmm. But again, I don't think she realized he was going to die.
No, she didn't. She didn't. If in the video she would have said something like, I hope you die. You deserve to die in there, or something. She would be getting first-degree murder. She probably would get the death penalty as well. Or at least the state would try to go for it because they would have torture added to it, because he clearly suffered in there.
Yes.
But yeah, there was no forethought. And even with first degree murder, the forethought only has to be a second. When it's when it's decided, I'm gonna kill you. That's it. It's first degree. But yeah, for this, no, she was just drunk. And she did something that she didn't know was going to kill him, even though it's ridiculous to imagine that it wouldn't, right? Any reasonable person would consider that that's a very dangerous scenario, and I can't even imagine what he went through. I hope that it didn't last long. I hope that at some point soon and shortly thereafter he just passed out. And he didn't know anything,
That's what I was thinking too. I hope he didn't sound nearly as drunk as her in that video, but hopefully he was just super drunk and passed out from a combination of the alcohol and lack of oxygen and didn't suffer horribly, like you said, and wasn't fully aware of what was happening, because that would just be horrendous. But I mean, maybe she thought, you're right, it is ridiculous to not realize the danger in doing that, but maybe she thought, oh, it's fabric, it's breathable, like you can get oxygen through there. Her son was in one.
Right. Right.
Not for 12 hours, but
no, definitely not. But yeah, she just wanted to make him suffer. Obviously she's very angry at him, and probably in the way of physical violence, maybe she doesn't really get one in very often.
Maybe she just was her chance to feel powerful.
Like, maybe this will teach you something. This will teach you how it feels. And she talked about cheating too. And so I'm curious what the cheating situation is, because I remember hearing that a couple of the incidents, at least when the police were involved, were because he would get angry when they would be at the bar and she would pay attention to another guy. And I'm not talking like she's giving him a lap dance. It could be just asking him for a lighter or having a conversation. Like
Who
that type
said
of thing.
that, though? Who said that?
I think that it was in a police report.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure. Are you thinking she said it?
Yeah. Well, I was asking, like I was wondering.
Yeah.
She said, "Oh, he would beat me up if I'd even look at another man."
Yeah, I mean, it's possible.
It could have been true.
Sure, definitely. Yeah, I mean, especially if they're drinking, because this would have been at a bar.
Yes.
And how crazy is it, though, that all the money comes from Brian? Everything that she survives solely on alimony.
And has money to pay rent and bills and buy alcohol and cigarettes every day.
Yeah.
Alcohol and cigarettes for two people.
Yeah.
God, poor Brian.
I know.
And he's taking care of their child.
Yes.
100%. Certainly financially, 100%. And taking care of Sarah and her boyfriend, her alcoholic, abusive boyfriend.
Yeah, because there would be no reason for the son to not live with her if it wasn't because of the alcohol, just for the sole reason that that's his mother,
Right.
You know, and a lot of times I think primary custody is like that. But obviously there's a reason why he's there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if any of this is court mandated, or it sounded to me like when they got divorced, did they just agree to it?
Yeah, I think so too. At least the custody arrangement.
Yeah.
I don't know about the money stuff.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean when they say alimony, it sounds official. Like there's an
Right.
agreement in place. Yeah. Yeah. So, what do you think?
Well, I think we're just getting started
I know.
with Sarah
Yeah.
because her interrogation is a whole other ride. And then there's all the court stuff that follows, which is part of what makes her so fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who is so entitled,
Yeah.
so unwilling to accept any responsibility of wrongdoing, and just her constant bragging, like humble bragging about herself.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I feel like there's a common thread with these kinds of people that we cover, and it's a lack of self-awareness
Yes.
of how people really view them,
Yes.
or how they come across to people.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because it's quite the opposite.
Yes, it is. It's also very easy to lose track of the victim totally in these cases and just focus on the defendant, or the criminal, because they're such extraordinary circumstances and such awful people that we talk about, like Jodi Arias.
Yeah.
And so you kind of overlook, I don't know, George and Travis, for example. I feel like they're kind of overlooked, and we focus on the criminals, of course. That's what we're talking about. But when you hear that video and you hear him say her name and like begging, he's saying, "I can't breathe, babe.
Yeah.
I'm serious, I can't breathe." Not like, "You better fucking let me out of here, you bitch." You like threatening her. Maybe he would have hurt her if she let him out. Who knows? She didn't sound very scared, though. I'll tell you. I'll say that.
I think it was because she planned on leaving him there for a little bit. But you're right. Wasn't expecting him to die.
Right. She got to let him out sometime.
She was going to, yeah, you're right. She was going to let him out. Then what was going to happen? But maybe at that point he would have understood, because I think that this is in the interrogation, but she talks about his class that he's taking and how he's improved so much, and how he's had these really profound experiences where he'll either see a video of a lesson or something, or hear a story, and he'll say, "I'm so sorry, Sarah,
for what I've done
to you." Yeah. So maybe this would have been one of those lessons, something that he could understand what he does to her and how it feels when she can't breathe. Now I'm doing it to you. Now we're even.
Well, and I'm doing it for your own good, so you can understand better.
That is right.
Because I'm such a good girlfriend.
I'm trying to teach you a lesson. This is hurting me as much as it's hurting you. I'm not really laughing. I know it sounds like I am. I know it sounds like I'm saying fuck you as you're telling me that you can't breathe and it's your fault that you can't breathe. It's on you. I know that I'm saying that, but I'm doing it for your own good. This is called scared straight.
Right.
Yeah, that's our own version of that. But yeah, I think it is, I wouldn't say it's easy to forget the victim, but it's because these are the people that are dealing with the current circumstances. You know, these are the people that are going through the trial. They're the ones that are being investigated. That it does become like the victim's not here anymore.
Right.
And, just like with Travis, when we talk about Jodi, all of his personal business isn't his personal business anymore. All of the things for his image that he wanted to keep for himself and the things that he struggled with, especially sexually, right? In regard to his faith. He wanted all of that to be a secret. He wanted to have an image of a proper Mormon gentleman, you know, someone who was going to get married and have a perfect family that he was going to take care of and all of that. And that was exposed. You know, his sex life was exposed, the one that wasn't supposed to exist. You know, so it is unfortunate because it's such a tragedy. And it makes me think of the Karen retrial. I know you haven't really paid attention to it, right?
Right. Not yet.
It's an interesting one. Now, first of all, so if any of you guys have followed it, this is a woman who was charged also with second-degree murder for allegedly hitting her boyfriend with her car and leaving him outside to die. So what ended up happening with the trial is that a lot of conspiracy theories started to swirl around this case, and they were saying she was framed. She was framed because her boyfriend was a Boston cop. All of his friends and also family didn't like her for whatever reason. Alcohol was another major problem. I think that their relationship was a powder keg waiting to happen. Not like this necessarily, but the fact that they fought all the time, screaming, and they were drunk all the time as well. But they were saying that she was being framed that somehow these two families, the McCabe's and the Alberts, they somehow beat him up and left him outside and ended up framing her in saying that she hit him with a car, but she actually didn't. So it's really interesting because the trial itself took on a life of its own. So if you were following it, you would know all of the protesters that were outside, all of the support that Karen Read has in the community. It's all about her. And it's not about the person who's deceased. And his family was there every single day. His brother in particular, front and center. And the way that the courtroom was set up, it was very small. So it's kind of like the gallery is kind of like a U shape with the back row and then two sides. And then in the middle is where the tables are for the attorneys and the defendant. And the brother, the way that Court TV had the cameras set up was that because the jury, if you walk into the courtroom, is on the right-hand side. So obviously they can't show the jury. So that's where the cameras were, and you could see the opposite wall with the gallery. And his brother's there. And his mom was there too. And you could just see how angry he was and how hurt he was. And he did an interview after the trial was over because there was a mistrial. The jury could not decide on some lesser charges. And there's a whole controversy around that as well. So this is going to be in the news for quite some time. They're supposed to be having a status hearing at the end of this month to see what's going to happen with a retry. And the prosecutor already said that I believe he wants to do that. But really, a lot of the focus is on the defense team and how dynamic they are. And with Karen and how, you know, she's a victim here as well. And it's almost like with the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial, where Johnny was really the star of the show. His defense team was really the star, where they became like celebrities, you know, through all of this. All of the community support was all around Johnny. And I'm not saying that he shouldn't have had it, because clearly Amber was a liar. She, you know, formulated this entire narrative to really destroy his life. But that's what ended up happening here in this Karen Read trial, where the defense team became the celebrities and Karen Read is a celebrity. And so when the victim's brother did an interview after, I felt sorry for him because he's just like sitting there and he's so disappointed because he believes that she hit him. He, that's what him and also his family believe, that she's guilty of this and she should be found guilty. But to see them celebrating, the good guys got their mistrial and therefore it's not a not guilty, but it's not a guilty. So it's a win as far as they're concerned, and to see them celebrating and to see the family really suffering because now they're not able to close that book.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not able to feel that John, who is the victim, would get justice for what happened. Now, I think as far as she's concerned, I think it's almost the same type of a situation with Sarah in the sense that I don't think she knew that she hit him. I think she hit him, but I don't think she knew because she was driving and she was drunk. It was also snowing. It was dark. It was in the middle of the night. And so I think that's what happened. But, she's made out to be a victim of a conspiracy as well. Mm-hmm. So you're right. The victims do end up on the back burner because they're not here anymore. So the focus turns on, well, who's going to pay? Who's going to go to prison for this?
Right. And I think it's just the personality of the offenders in these cases that makes them so compelling to watch. You love to hate them because they're such liars and such shitty, awful people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we know that by looking at Jody, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah at the same time too, where she's really trying to make herself out to be just a normal not even a normal person, better than the normal person.
Yeah, an exceptional
person, right? Somebody who excels at everything. And that's really going to be her downfall.
Yes, I agree.
It's definitely going to be her downfall. So supposedly, I believe her trial date is in October, but I'm sure that will change. I don't know.
No, I think it said something I heard today. The judge who refused to give her another lawyer, I could be wrong about this, but I know he said about some court date, I'm thinking it's the trial. The trial will happen on that date no matter what. Unless it's, an extraordinary reason, like, I don't know, an apocalypse or something, like some big crazy thing happens.
Yeah.
But her not having counsel is not a valid reason to delay.
Right. Yeah. And I believe that his position was that that's kind of what she was doing as well, was that this keeps delaying the trial.
Uh-huh.
So we're not doing that anymore.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, in particular, because she's not electing to do this, like Daryl Brooks.
Right.
And some other people who have done it. So with her not wanting to, I wonder how, what type of an impact that would have. Because I know that when somebody elects to represent themselves, they don't have the benefit of being able to appeal for
ineffective
assistance. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if she would have some type of a free course.
I thought they said she could not appeal.
Okay.
Because of that. But I'm not well versed in any of it, so I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just listening to other people. Like, I don't know their credentials.
Probably other people who don't know. We're just having theories and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Most of them are like, the channels are like, watch lawyer react to Sarah Boone's blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're really a lawyer. They could be an astronaut.
I know a couple of them are, like Emily D. Baker.
Mm-hmm.
She is.
Yes, I know her. No, these are ones that I'm unfamiliar with. They look like lawyers. They sound like lawyers.
They play one on YouTube.
Yeah, so I'm going to believe them.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens. So the next part that we're going to do is to take a look at her interrogation. So just to remember how this story keeps developing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but we have that foundation there of them having a great night.
Yep, having a great night and definitely not being drunk. And let's see how it goes.
Absolutely. So we will leave it here for now. And until next time, we will see you later. Take care.